Okay.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and we are back live once again here at SimPlay Motorsport. It's been a while. We've had a week off due to, ACC 505 basically making an update that went completely tits up, and Xbox users had many issues. But we'll get into that very shortly. But we are back, we are live, and we are racing once again here in France for the 8th round of the season, and we are at Paul Ricard for the next round of the championship. And joining me once again for the Whodarron Cup every week, it is my good friend Alexa Marshall. Lexi, a week off, obviously yourself being on Xbox, obviously knew exactly what was going on, and a lot of the Xbox users as well. It's been an absolute nightmare, hasn't it, this last week?
Yeah, to call it a nightmare is an understatement. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna cause controversy or anything. I'm just gonna say Project Cars 2 was fun while ACC was down, but we are back. We are here. We are ready to go. There's 13 minutes left in free practice on the clock, and it is Bont who is currently up top with O'Reilly P2 and Yo P3. And I'm not gonna lie, what snacks has everybody got tonight? Especially you, Dan, because I won't lie, I've got Jaffa cakes.
I've already had my dinner, and I don't know if we can start a debate. Is Jaffa Cakes a biscuit or a cake? That's the question. In my opinion, it's a cake. But we'll get to that debate a little bit later on. We'll focus purely on what's happening tonight here on the circuit. And like I said, we are back. And obviously, what's happened in the week is obviously due to ACC making a final update, or their big and final update that they're meant to be releasing very shortly, has ended up damaging the servers and everything, especially for the Xbox users. Every time the Xbox users...
rigged.
They did damage they did damage them, but they stopped them from working. Basically what would happen, they would go completely full lock to the right and then start having a glitch and getting stuck. The other issues that the Xbox users also experienced was every time they tried to save a setup, it would never actually save at all. So it has been a bit of an absolute nightmare of a week for the Xbox users. PlayStation, no affection whatsoever. They've been perfectly fine. And all it was in the end was extra liveries and drivers that's been added to the roster.
Yeah, good old classic. Yeah, we give you a good old. Honestly, it happens with loads of games. Good old classic. We give you some brand new skins, and we give you a tiny update with a few more skins. Oh yeah, we also broke the game, by the way. Just classic small updates that happen nowadays in the gaming world, but it's not really going to change much because we got the racing action. We are back and we are ready to rumble, like we said. And O'Reilly is a very interesting driver coming into this. A bit of a smaller grid tonight from so far. Only 23 drivers on the grid compared to the usual closer to 30. Let's be honest, Dan, it's kind of no surprise. However, I must say, majority of the grid is Xbox users.
It is indeed, and we thought the Xbox users would be scared off because of it, but it turns out more the PlayStation boys have kind of scared off a little bit. But it was the right decision to make in the end to cancel last week's racing due to the fact that the amount of Xbox users that we actually do have is very high. So it was very important to make sure that they were all in and racing, otherwise it would not be a great event. But let's talk the circuit that we are at tonight, Lexi. We are at Circuit Paul Ricard in France for the next round of the season. And what's your opinion on this circuit? For me, it's a circuit that is, firstly, incredibly confusing. All the lines everywhere just makes no sense. And secondly, I really detest this circuit. Something about it, I cannot stand it at all.
Oh well, I'm an avid parking lot non-supporter, but I'll defend the parking lot. Yes, I'm calling it a parking lot because that's what Paul Ricard is. The amount of layouts it's got on it is crazy. I mean, it's a pretty good circuit. It's nice and wide so you get all the racing action. You don't have a stupid chicane like Formula 1 do. Sector 3 is nice and technical, same with Sector 1. And then Sector 2 is just slipstream, slipstream. And people don't realise it. It's very clear where the track limits are, especially down at turn number 8. Just keep it within the bollards and you're going to be fine. So there is plenty of room for racing action. I will defend Paul Ricard because is it a good circuit? Yes. Is it the best circuit? No, but it's good for racing action.
If you think so, Lexi, I think it's a complete and utter nightmare. Marty Cranes in the chat saying, good luck, everyone, and cheering on my dapper racing. Obviously, he's moved now. Obviously, Hooper has withdrawn from the GT4 championship. I think work has kind of intervened and he is unable to complete the rest of the season. So O'Reilly's now got a new teammate of Cranes instead, and those guys are going to be at it. Sadly, obviously, he's not able to make tonight. And we have got 23 drivers here this evening, a little less than we usually have here at SimPlay Motorsport. But obviously, I think that's due to, like I said, people are a bit busy, especially in the summer. Now kids are on holiday, and it's difficult for people to work in that time. A quick run through of this circuit. The circuit without the chicane, without the chicane here at Paul Ricard is, I found it. 5.7 kilometers long in 3.5 miles, 13 turns, and a lap time record set by Nick de Vries in an LMP2 car of 1 minute 40.138. And that was set back in 2020. Regarding the GT3's record, that is set in a Lamborghini Huracan GT3 Evo, set by Christopher Lenz, and he did a 159.3. And that was done in the 2019 French International GT Open round back in 2019. So that's kind of the rough information about this circuit. Other than that, it's not particularly one of the more exciting ones. It was opened back in 1970, April 19th. And it's good. The original track was dominated by the 1.8 kilometer or 1.1 mile long straight that goes from one end of the circuit to the other, and it's also famously known as engine failures were common, such as Ayrton Senna's huge crash during the 1985 French Grand Prix after a Renault engine on his Lotus decided to give out. So there's been some interesting races back in the early days of Formula 1, but I think in modern days it's not really been great. And if anything, Lexi, I actually think Manicourt is a better race circuit than this one myself.
To be honest, just don't ask Charles Leclerc about this circuit. I think we left Paul Ricard because Charles Leclerc decided to throw away all his championship hopes at turn number 5. So yeah. We didn't go there. Information as well, wishing her recovery. Cairns is out of action. With broken wrists and broken ribs, so he is out of action. So what is with the MSA boys? We got Torok who's out with a broken hand. Now we got Kane's out with a broken wrist and broken ribs. Probably crashing too much of an Nordschleifer.
Yeah. Possibly. I think they're just pushing the limits a bit too hard on their sim rigs and it's breaking them. Or maybe Ken's tried to run the Xbox with the wheel going completely lunatic and it came off worse by the sounds of things. But nice to see you guys in the chat. Zen. Nice to see the league back on track again, and best luck to the drivers and commentators. I mean, we're going to be working exceedingly hard tonight. And we're going to make sure that we keep ourselves busy. Regarding the championship standings, Lexi, you won't be surprised, but Kieran O'Reilly is leading away, and he has got a big gap. He's got 1,056 points to his name. He's got a 252 point gap over McGowan in second, with Duffin now in third. 4th is Skunky with Tordok in 5th, and again out of action. Friedman in 6th with Snai in 7th. 8th is Wright with Yo in 9th. Goudet in 10th with Ramsel in 11th. Silth in 12th with Leach in 13th. Carlos in 14th. Keynes in 15th place position with Varga 16th. Bolton 17th. Langley 18th with Millington in 19th. 20th is Aberdeen with Hoffner 21st. Flop in 22nd with Tipping in 23rd. 24th is Bell with Taylor 25th. Marston 26th. Archer 27th. Smith 28th. Johnson 29th. Cherrymore 30th. Kneebone 31st, and he's obviously pulled out as well due to, I believe, work as well. Stardog in 32nd. Fernie 33rd. Storrock 34th. Old Sim Racer 35th. Hovlath in 36th, Cummins in 37th, Williams 38th, Best 39th, Raiden in that 40th position, and De Bont making his debut here tonight, as has our new driver as well. L. Cox has joined us this evening as well in that 11th place position currently at the minute. I've got a couple of new drivers in this week as well, Lexi, but Kieran O'Reilly's looking mighty out in front, isn't he?
Yeah, I mean, is it a surprise that he's out in front? Not really, from what we've seen. And I just want to do a correction here for you, Dan. It's not yet. It's yeet. Yes, WWE reference, I know. It's pronounced yeet, not yet. So, just a small correction for you. But 205.082. Are we surprised it's O'Reilly? No, we're not. But Bont is very close behind him, less than a tenth. In fact, less than half a tenth. So, very close between those drivers, and then it's a bit wider through to Yo, and then Langley, and then Flop. It's then John Gooday, followed by Matthew, Duffin, Taylor, McGowan, and Ramsell rounds out the top 10. Current slowest so far with a lap time on the board is Bell, being 3.270 off the top time, and Archer, Stardog, and Leach are yet to set lap times. So that's how it lines up in free practice. We've got 2 minutes 32 remaining.
We have indeed, and yeah, obviously O'Reilly with that big lead for him really helps out his team as well. Well, saying that obviously due to Keynes obviously with the injuries that he's sustained, and also with Hooper pulling out, does mean that Greasy Bandits has brought the gap down in the teams championship. Dapper leading the way with only 55 points ahead of Greasy Bandits. Team RRM in P3 with SimPlay Racing in P4. Team GBR is in 5th with Quantum Motorsport in 6th. MSA in 7th with CT Motorsport in 8th. 9 is Ballbusters Racing with 10th going G&D Racing. 11th is Team Piston Pounders with 12th going CGT Motorsport. 13th is Team Audio Sport. 14th is Roadrunner Motors. 15th is Soldor Racing. 16th is OWR Racing with Blunt Force Racing in 17th. 18th is a 2Cs Racing with Lexi Industries in 19th. 20th is Team FBR. Team Tom is in 21st. Apex in 22nd. And then in 23rd is OGR. And that is your standings for the drivers and the teams. And in the end, O'Reilly leads the way once again with De Bont in 2nd. And in 3rd now goes Flop for Lexi's Industries Racing. Finding that pace there is Flop. And Yo, once again, up in the top half. Once again, now been promoted to Platinum after being in silver for... been promoted up into gold after being in silver for a while. But that is that, Lexi. We're now coming to the end of free practice. We're about to get into the first race. And obviously, it's going to be an interesting night. Clear skies, clear day here. Yeah, clear skies here for the race. It's going to be a hot one, and it's going to be a fast one nonetheless here at Paul Ricard.
Yeah, so long, fast. We wait to see. 30 seconds left on the clock in free practice. Everybody's in the pit lane apart from one driver, that of course being Bell in P number 20 at the current moment. If you don't know how the format works for the Whodarron Cup, it is a 10-minute qualifying session for Q1, followed by race number 1. There's 5-minute intervals between them all. Then it's qualifying 2 of 7 minutes, followed by a 20-minute race, and then qualifying 3 is 7 minutes, followed by race number 3. And the green flag flies, and it is go, go, go. You are allowed out the pit lane. Who is going to be first out? It looks like just about it's Matthew Duffin who will get out onto the circuit first. A big skirmish between all these drivers to get out there on the circuit. But no surprise really, considering that it is over a 2-minute lap time. So a 10-minute qualifying, you have time to get about 3 laps in. The other qualifying sessions, you're only really going to have 2. But it is Matthew Duffin who is leading that pack out there to ensure that all these drivers are going to be getting lap times in. And of course, he's got Rob Smith behind him with plenty of other drivers just following in the train behind. Still a few in the pit lane, probably waiting for a bit more of a gap. Q2 and Q3, a bit more tricky, but you got plenty of time here in Q number 1.
Yeah, you have indeed, and obviously the way the championship works as well is the top 8 in the championship are carrying ballast as well. And if we actually look at timetables, you see Duffin there carrying 30 kilos on board. McGowan's currently carrying 35. DeBont, being a new driver for the event, carries 20 kilos, with Matt Wright carrying 5, O'Reilly carrying that 40 kilos on top. With I was expecting Cox to be carrying 20 kilos also, but he's not. So we got away lightly on this one. But either way, it is the way that works. It's championship ballast based on the old touring car format that we used to have. And we are about to take a lap around this fantastic circuit of Paul Ricard. And for a driver yourself, Lexi, what would you say is the best way to negotiate this circuit? Like, what's the mindset? Obviously, it's very unorthodox to other circuits. How would you prepare yourself going to this one, and what does a driver need to be good around this circuit?
I'll be honest, no idea, because I haven't been able to drive this circuit. But I would say avoid the blue. I think it's very clear. You can push the limit of the car. Just avoid the blue stuff, because then you are invalidated. And you've also got to be careful of the bollards. You see them on the exit of the final corner. Turn number 8 is the main one. There's little bollards off the circuit. As long as you are back on the circuit by the time you are reaching those bollards, then your lap time will still be validated. So it can be a bit more tricky with corners like turn 1 and turn 2 though. So just keep it validated and keep it going, because otherwise you will be picking up track limits warnings. You will be picking up drive-throughs, and to be honest, nobody wants that.
No, you don't, and it's a circuit that's very easy to get that. I think, obviously, from my perspective of testing here in the Lamborghini and getting an eye in of what is to come for the pros, for me, it's all about patience and confidence. If you've got the patience and confidence, then you're going to be able to be fast around here. Obviously, the patience due to the fact that there are some very long corners, and especially in this heat with a track set at 28 degrees currently at the minute, those rear tyres are going to go get hot, especially after a long race. For the Ginettas, they should be fine for the Whodarron Cup, but for later on, for the pros and the Pro-Ams, it's definitely going to really hurt them regarding the fast cornering and the flowing part of this circuit. See Duffin now coming up to the fast flowing turn 8. And like Lexi said, there's a couple of bollards just on the outside of the circuit there. If you just glance past them, your lap is invalidated, or even worse, you will get a track limits warning. But like I said, the best way to be is patient and be ballsy as well, because if you haven't got a low downforce setup, the car will struggle down the long back straight. But also, you need a nice solid mechanical car in the in the first and the final sector. And if you're able to produce a good lap, you should be able to be in a 2 minutes 05, possibly into the 2 minute 4 seconds range if you've managed to nail the lap together. As Duffin now comes out of the final corner, he is going to set the first benchmark of the night. Obviously gets that advantage starting towards the front of the grid. He comes to the line and it's a 2 minute 6, with Smith now crossing the line with 1.3 off the pace. We've got McGowan then coming up to the line and goes fastest with a 2:05.7.
Yeah, so not too bad. It is Yo now who goes to the top, 2:04.960 now the top lap time. Still plenty of drivers still to come around on the circuit. You got Flop who's now coming down the main straight. He's starting a brand new lap time. Cox is out there as well. Up on the board is going to be now Rob Smith. He's up there as well. We've got Ramsell who's just at a lap time. We've got plenty of drivers still trying to fight for these positions as you look at him. You got Cherrymore now coming in the line. I think he's just going on to a lap now. And you've also got Hort and you've also got Horvath who's making his way down the back straight. Looking at all these drivers, if we're going to predict anyone, Dan, who's it going to be?
I think it's either between O'Reilly or DeBont, but already Darren Yeo putting in a fabulous lap time, the first man to go into the 04s. But the track has now gone fast, from fast to optimum, so we should see some lap times coming down relatively quickly, as we've got a few cars now coming to the final corner. Here comes now Cox, but he goes very, very wide, and that's going to hurt his lap time for sure, and I think he's not going to get the lap time on the board. No, he's not, as we've got Matt Wright now coming to the line, and what's he can do in a Ginetta, and he only goes 5th on that one, only a couple of tenths off the back of Duffin. So lap times just slowly coming in here at the minute, Lexi. Not the fast, intense lap times I was expecting to come flying in, but at the minute it's just slow pace, drivers getting a feel for the circuit.
Yeah, I mean, is it a surprise? First laps out there. You want to get a banker in. That's what most of the first laps will be. You may have a few who like to push out there on the outlap, but you're going to go even faster with an optimum track, and you now got all these drivers fighting and skirmishing. Plenty of different liveries out there, which we're now spotting again. It seems as we're actually able to get back out on track, and still quite a few lap times not set, but Bon is only 2 thousandths. May end up beating here. Yes, he does. 2:04.532. No surprise there. The question is, where is O'Reilly? Because if we're going to expect anybody to beat him, it's going to be O'Reilly. Now to the line, and he will only go P number 5, but I think that was just an outlap.
There's definitely more time in the bank for O'Reilly, and obviously a reminder as well, he is carrying ballast on top. He's carrying the heaviest amount of ballast, which is 40 kilos on top, and they do say that the Ginetta does suffer quite badly with the weight on board, as Bell comes to the line and only goes 13th. I believe that was Stardo across the line. He now goes into 11th place position, and I think Cherry Moore now coming to the end. No, he's at the start of the sector. I'm trying to figure out who is that coming to the end. That is Langley, the Pro-Am leading driver at the minute. He's got an intense battle with himself and Vitas. He crosses the line, and that puts him P3, 6 tenths in the end behind DeBont. So definitely drivers finding some pace out there at the minute, as Matt Wright now comes to the line.
It's not getting a lap time in on the board. Matt Wright is going to go to the line. I'm trying to find him on my board, but I cannot see things, apparently.
He's already gone through.
Yeah.
He's up into 7th place position.
There he is. There's so many M's in that. There's so many M's out there on the circuit. It can be hard to find them sometimes, especially when they can be a little bit smaller. Cox out there. Also got John Gooday and Gary and Leach. Gonna go around the final corner now for Team Audio Sport in that pink, green, and blue livery. Gonna go to the line for Leach, but no lap time on the board. Marsden, Tipping, Cox, Aberdeen, Taylor, and Archer in the pit lane, yet to set a lap. So that is what is happening out there. Got plenty of drivers still fighting for all these positions. Matthew Duffin now comes into the pit lane. We've got a minute on the clock, and it seems like the old person. It seems like here comes O'Reilly. Is he going to get an improvement? Yes, he does. Only P4 though, so this is going to be his final run now. Can he go to pole?
We shall see, as they are now coming to the end of their laps here, and I think that was who was that? Cummins just crossed the line. He goes into 10th place position with that lap time. No real massive changes that we're seeing at the minute. I believe that's Bell now coming to the line. It is, and he improves but doesn't go any higher than where he is at this stage of the session. But he has got one more lap underneath him, and I think that is Langley coming into the final sector now. Currently P3 at the minute. He will sneak another one in, and that will be it. I think Matt Wright will just miss the cut. But coming to the line now, Langley, does he improve? No, he stays where he is, but there is time. He has got one more attempt here. It's Matt Wright now exits the final corner. Will he sneak one more lap in? It's going to be close. And I think he did, but he didn't improve. and that is him done. Obviously not enough fuel either, as most of the cars are now coming back into pit lane.
Just watching O'Reilly right now down the back straight, one of the last drivers who will be setting a lap time around here. So about 4th ahead of final. So he's coming through the final sector now, trying to hold on to all of these, but he's very wide through turn number 9 and then into turn number 10 through to turn number 11 in what I call the upside down mustache section. So because it kind of looks like an upside down mustache if you look at the circuit when it's straight instead of in the weird north-south that it is on the mini-mapping game. But now into the final few corners, what is going to happen here? Is he going to get an improvement? We're going to have to wait and see. Flop's gone to the line, P number 6, and no improvement there. Rob Smith, P number 12, Horvath, P number 11, Cummings, P10. Also got up Matt Wright with P number 8. Now goes to the line O'Reilly, not pole, only P3. So right now it seems like nobody is going to be battling Bond at the top.
Yeah, the Bond looking strong for the pole position. We still got a couple more drivers though to come to the line. Here comes a good A to the line. He ends up in 9th place position in the end, and then we finish off with Bell to round off the first qualifying session here, the 10-minute qualifying session that we have. And Bell across the line, and it's only 15th for him on that one. So the Bond with his first event here in the Whodarron Cup takes it to pole position for the first time. Once again, Darren Yeo continuing that strong pace that he had in P2. Of O'Reilly, obviously the championship leader, currently P3, and you're defending GT4 champion as well. Obviously not really classified as the same thing. It's kind of like a 1 series championship, but obviously he was so dominant in that McLaren last time out, and he is looking very strong in this one. So Alexi, I know you don't like me asking this. Prediction?
I am O'Reilly.
You're going for O'Reilly for the win. I'm gonna go De Bont for this one, as we got Martin Van Manvoort in the chat. Good evening all, nice to see you in the chat. And now I'm going to try and get the poll going, but Lexi, while we get a poll up and running, do you want to have us a quick run through of the order for the first race here tonight at Paul Ricard for round 8 of the season?
You know, of course. So Bond will line up in pole position. It's then going to be Yo who lines up in P number 2. O'Reilly, championship leader, sits in P number 3, with the first of the silvers, that being Langley, in P number 4. Matthew Duffyman sits in P number 5 with Flop P6 to round out the third row on the grid. It's then going to be McGowan in P number 7 with Matt Wright in P number 8. John Goday sits P number 9 with Ramsell rounding out the top 10. It's then going to be Cummins, Horvath, Rob Smith as the first of the bronze drivers. It's then going to be Stardog, Bell, Cherrymore, Millington, Marsden, Tipping, Cox, Aberdeen, Taylor, Archer, and then Leach rounds out this slightly smaller than usual 24 car grid.
Smaller, yes, but mighty still very much. I've done the top 4. If you don't agree with me, then obviously put your votes in on the chat as well. As Martin says in the chat, been here a while since I joined live. Fair enough. Well, nice to see you in the chat. Obviously, annoyingly, the server doesn't, or the stream doesn't tell us who is actually here or not. But nice to have you in the chat, Martin. I hope you're enjoying the racing as well, and then same to everyone else in the stream. If you haven't done so, then please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. But always watching the YouTube vids for all the races. For English people, my last name is a pain to pronounce. Yes, it is a bit of a pain. I'm guessing you're Dutch by the van. So Martin Van Monvoort. I'm trying to say it in a Dutch accent, Monvoort, but
Yeah, no, just don't like. This is the thing what I found. If it's a different language, just don't try with an accent. It's as simple as going just Monvoort, because it just naturally happens. If it's wrong, then you can just blame it on your accent. So.
I mean, I'm dyslexic anyway, so me trying to pronounce English names, let alone foreign names, is a struggle for me. Obviously, one other thing we have to mention as well, Lexi, is our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well, and all the information as well are in the chat as well. So make sure you have a look at their Facebook pages and their website as well. Yes, Dutch, and that is a good pronunciation. Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. I watched a lot of BMX racing, so I know there's a lot of Dutch riders in that, and yeah, I've got used to pronouncing Dutch names. It's not quite the same as Max Verstappen, is it? Let's be honest.
To be honest, I'll be honest. You know how I know how to pronounce that? Because of Zandvoort.
Zandvoort.
Yeah, so it's like that. That's just how I know. That's just how I know to pronounce it, because it's Zandvoort. So it's Monfort. It's Monfort. It's
yeah. I get what you're saying.
Once you learn the little nicks and crannies once you know the little nooks and crannies where to find the similarities, it gets a bit easier. Anyways, Dan, we're getting towards the end of this formation lap, and we're about to get racing action underway. We're just heading through the upside down mustache at the moment.
You love that, don't you? The upside down mustache. As we are about to get underway, obviously the drivers as well, I want to say a massive thank you to them for participating in the driver infos. We've learned a lot about the drivers here at SimPlay Motorsport. We would love to see more as well. Skunky in the chat, good evening, Dan and Lexi, just in time for the race start. How come you're not racing, Skunky? I haven't seen you on track, mate. What's happening? Is your Xbox still broken? Question mark. As we're about to get underway, ready for the first race here, get your votes in on who you think is going to win this one. And also, I'm pretty sure with Skunky being here, he's going to make a prediction how many drive-throughs we're going to get by the end of the night. But it is DeBont versus Yo on the front row. Team GBR versus the Ballbusters Racing. Who's going to take the win? That is the question as we're about to wait for starters orders here at Paul Ricard. We are green and go and racing here at Paul Ricard as we head down to turn number 1. And Darren Yo with the better line going towards turn number 1, and DeBont with the poor start. Probably those 10 kilos hurting him, 20 kilos hurting him going into turn number 1. But Yo goes very, very wide. Has to cut the chicane and give up the time. He will have to slow that down or else he'd gain an advantage. But Yo leads the way and pulling away as well, as Duffin has already cleared Langley, is onto the back of O'Reilly. Looks like Flop is at a moment and he's gone off in turn number 1 as everyone else funnels their way down towards the end of the first sector and out of the tight twisty section of turns 6 and 7, and Ramsell's down and there's a complete car park. Oh god, there's cars absolutely everywhere in turn 6 and 5 and 6 there.
I need to get up my controller real quick so I can actually click replay.
As they head down towards the back straight, as Lexi gets to see the replay and see exactly what happened. I think at some point we will need to organise a stream for you, Lexi, and try and get the live replays going as well so we can see what has happened. But already Darren Yo has given up that time and looks like DeBont has caught up to the back of him. Meanwhile, O'Reilly's got Duffin behind him with Langley close behind, Matt Wright P6 with McGowan P7, P8 is Goudet, and Smith in 9th, Bell in 10th, Cox in 11th with Millington in 12th, and everyone else being caught up in the incidents with Aberdeen tipping Archer, Leach. Flop is under pressure from Taylor and Ramsell by the looks of things, and Ramsell's made contact with Taylor there and around they go once again. So again, contact made there and Ramsell losing out at the start of this race quite badly as Hovdaff is then defending from Cherrymore, who's looking to go around the outside but can't quite get the run there. Just behind them is Marston, Cummings and Stardock rounding out the order as well. We see there Bell goes wide and that's going to allow Cox and Millington to go up the inside and job done for them.
Oh no. Oh, it's a tap. So that big pile up is because of a tap on the inside going into the right-hander. So about turn number 5, turn number 6.
Between who?
Between Ramsell and what seems to be, I think, Taylor. I'm trying to figure out 1, 2, 3. Between
1, 2, 3 is Cummings.
Yeah, so it is Cummings who goes into the back. It looks like it's to move. It looks like he tries to move down the inside, but a bit too far back. Ramsell's already turned in, and that taps Ramsell on the rear end, and then Ramsell holds the brakes, but he's in the middle of the circuit. It turns into a game of ping pong, and it turns into a bit of a cluster.
A bit of parking, an actual car park. It was Paul Ricard car parking, it says from Martin in the chat. And Skunky looks like Ramsell in distress. Been grafting, mate, only just got home. So Skunky has made it home. I hope he can make it into the show, but probably has not confirmed either. So he'll have to start. We'll have to miss one, sadly. But Goudet right on the back of McGowan at the minute. And they're all just pushing the limits, and he's not able to get any closer at the minute. I saw Leach earlier quite close to the back of Tipping. He's going to go around the outside of the fast-flowing turn 8, and I think he's just about going to get the job done, and Tipping gives him the space and respect. A good move there from Leach to work himself back up the order.
Yeah, we've also got McGowan and John Goudet. They've been battling it out down the back straight. Got very close heading through turn number 10, now into turn number 12. 13, of course, is the final one. Looking for the outside move is John Goudet. He will have the inside now into turn number 13. Will send it on the move, and he will get it done. A nice little move done there. Nice, easy on the inside. That's how it gets done by John Goudet. Matthew Duffin with the fastest lap. And now you've also got all these drivers battling as well. So McGowan is now going to have to fight that race down John Goudet, but you've also got main straight Millington Tipping, as it looks like it's going to be Gary Leach who gets past Millington. As a little bit of an air there. As now it seems like those are really the only fights. You've got Ramsell who's just flown past Horvath. So that's what's happened there. You've also got Stardog now making his way through. So the grid very much split in two after that lap 1 incident.
Very much so indeed. Meanwhile, Darren Yeo under some immense pressure here from the fellow Greasy Bandit stable driver of the Bont. He's in the tow. And the problem with these cars as well, Lexi, is they're going to be topping out now. They're going to be hitting the rev limiter, and they kind of don't really do much more after that. The slipstream is kind of useless. So all these guys fighting for the slipstream, but it's kind of a waste of time, because they're going to be hitting the limiter, they're going to be bouncing off the top of the limiter, and even possibly damaging their engine. So they have to be slightly careful as they head now to the fast-flowing turn 8. And the Bont has got Yo in sight, but he's just got to make sure he stays within those limits.
Yeah, as Horvath is back to the pit lane. So I'm going to see if I can catch what happened to him. Or did he just lose it on his own? Because that was just back to the pit lane. I don't know if there was contact with something, but he is back to the pits, and apparently doesn't want to let me see him. So
maybe possibly damage from the car park incident earlier on. Meanwhile, Taylor in the background is looking to make a move on Cherrymore, and Cherrymore just dropping down the order. A little bit of front end damage to his car, possibly hurting him towards the middle part of this race. But after the third lap here, Yo still leads with the Bont fastest lap of the race. The Bont looking for an opportunity to come through. He's been really sticking it out with the top guys as well in the pros, with O'Reilly and myself battling it hard at Mazzano 2 weeks ago. And he's now onto the rear wing of Yo and trying to give him a hard time. Martin in the chat, can you really damage or blow an engine in ACC? Yes, you can. It depends on the car as well. I've had multiple times with the Lexus, I've had yellow engines with the Lexus, but you can overheat the engine, you can damage it, and that's the fun of ACC.
Yeah, Aberdeen and Leach right now on the inside, now into turn number 4 to turn number 5. Just a nice little move there by Aberdeen to get the move done on the Team Audio Sport car. Also got Millington and Flop fighting each other throughout this section. Of course, Flop ended up losing the rear end through turn number 2 in lap number 1, but now he's going to go around the outside at turn number 7, and he's got to get the move done on Millington. So that's the move made for Flop up in P number 14, and we know how these cars decide. I'm gonna top out, and I'm not gonna go any faster down the back straight unless you give me slipstream. So that's one of the things that does get a bit tricky around here with these Ginettas. I think the main culprits that we see with these cars is Spa, Paul Ricard, and of course Monza, where these cars are topping out. So it's just one of those unfortunate things. Same with Massano, I think, actually, down that back straight.
Yeah, indeed. We're currently on board, requested by Skunky of the Bond to see how close he is onto the back bumper of Yo. And he really is giving him a bit of a hard time. We're not even halfway through this race. They're taking a lot of curb, which not necessarily is the best option. And taking all that curb does unsettle the car quite a bit. We're now onto the rear wing of Yo as they head down towards the first corner. And really it's just waiting for the opportunity to arise, I think, with the Bond, because Yo is just doing everything he needs to do, and the Bond at the minute hasn't had a clear opportunity to come through. And just behind them is O'Reilly as well. So O'Reilly giving them a hard time as the 420 Marsden already been affected by drive-through penalties there, and too many track limits there for Marsden.
But he got that coming out the final corner, so a little bit too wide through turn number 13, and that's going to cost him there. That's his hopes for race number 1 in the bin, I would say. So unfortunate for that driver. Now you've got everybody else still fighting. The main fight, of course, being that battle for P number 1 in that 3-car fight. But other than that, you've got a little bit of a gap forming between all of these drivers. O'Reilly now does have the slipstream down the back straight, but we know what they're like with topping out. So that's the tricky part with these Ginettas. Now, as there is Horvath, who is off to the side of the road at the Formula 1 chicane section. You're in a Ginetta, not a Formula 1 car.
Possibly some issues, hardware issues maybe for him, because that seems a bit strange to come out and then stop it again. There must be some form of issue or problem with his setup or something, because that is a bit strange. As Leach, meanwhile, is on the back bumper of Bell as we head into turn number 9. And Bell comes across to defend the inside of Leach. And as long as they stay in the grooves, they stay in the cambered section of the corner. They do not want to go out the grooves because there's a flat edge to the top of that corner. It's actually quite horrible, as I've learned and discovered. Bell goes a little bit wide through this horrible turn 11, but manages to fight off Leach at this stage. Meanwhile, Cummins is on the back of Taylor, and we can see there Archer, I think, has had a moment, lost the rear end. Obviously been playing too much WRC recently, and the back end of the Ginetta has gone round, and Cummings is now going to go through on him. As we go back to the lead, the Bond is right again on the back bumper of Yo. There's not really much he can do with him at the minute, as once again O'Reilly's going with him. So a close fight between the top 3 at this stage.
Into the pit lane, Cummings having a hold off Archer, it seems, down the main straight now. So up against each other, who is going to come out in this fight down the inside, and that is going to be the move almost done. Right up against each other, the 4-1-1 going to lose out. Big rear end wobble there. Ramsell is now going to follow through as well. So that's coming through, as well as Ramsell. Archer losing out 2 positions there within the space. In fact, more than 2 positions, about 5 positions through the space of about 5 corners. So unfortunate for him, down the back straight, down the middle straight, or whatever you want to call it, is a parking lot. So many layouts here, it's crazy. But this is the issue that we're seeing now here, Dan. Yes, Bont and O'Reilly are able to be on the back of Yo, but the only move, unless they do it in Sector 1, they can't really get the move, because on the back straight, the cars are just topping out, so they're kind of just chilling in the exact same distance that they are when they get onto the straight.
Yeah, indeed, and that's the thing. They've got to be clever now. They've got to try and force Yo into a mistake, and you can see the top three quite close to one another, and they're not really. Yo's doing everything he needs to do. He's putting the car slap bang, and it's not the easiest circuit to overtake. There's no real good opportunities to overtake a car in front. Turn 1 is probably your best opportunity, but turn 8 as well. But you've got to have some real confidence in your turn in and sending. Really, maybe the final corner if you get a run, but all these corners don't really flow with one another for an overtaking opportunity. So turn 1 really is your best bet, and Darren Yo has got that corner covered, and O'Reilly and DeBont really not being able to give any hassle to him, as Yo sets fastest lap of the race as well. So it shows how much confidence Darren Yo has at the minute at this stage. He's only got 7 minutes to fight these guys off.
Yeah, well, you're now into the section of 5, 6, 7. You're saying turn number 1. Personally, I'll make an argument for turn number 6 or turn number 7. You get the move done on the inside, then you send it around the outside at turn number 7. But you have to be right on the rear bumper of it for that, which just isn't happening. Now onto the back straight again. You're gonna see it. These cars are gonna top out to the max, and they're not gonna get anything done unless they're close enough for a slipstream, which they are not at the moment. So the draft is not really gonna give a good effect here. Maybe going a little bit, yeah. Bont is slowly, ever so slowly creeping in, but
he's
not close enough. Yeah, he's topped out, so it's just, unfortunately, just no move there, and it's just getting even more tricky down this back straight. If it was GT3 cars, maybe an Aston Martin, maybe you could go for a dive down the inside at turn number 8, but no moves done there.
We're currently about to go. We're about to go 3 wide in a minute, because we've got Bell, Aberdeen, and now Flop all close to one another, heading towards turn number 8. And I think
Flop's being smart. Flop's being smart.
Yeah, as Aberdeen's going to go wide. Bell, I think, is also going to run a little bit wide. That's going to give Flop the inside to the next corner, but Bell closes him up before he gets there. And Flop, in the end, just losing out. I think I was the only one who voted Yo for the win. He does have my setup, so that's why. It should be a good setup, and I think you're probably now going to curse him, Skunky, because he's got DeBont and O'Reilly close as they've ever been. O'Reilly right onto the back bumper of DeBont at the minute, and looks to the outside. DeBont depends the inside of turn 1. He's going to lose a little bit of traction through turn 2 because he's going to take a tighter line, and O'Reilly has got the run, and he's going to look to turn 4 now. He's going to be on the inside, but is he going to be brave enough on the brakes? Yes, he is. DeBont's going to have to give him racing room, but DeBont allows the brakes to come off. He'll then have the inside for 4, then into 5, and then through into the flow into 6. So for a moment there, DeBont gives Yo a bit of a break and pulls away. So Yo just hanging in there at the minute. We've got Langley, though, still giving Duffin a bit of a hard time, as Duffin just holding up these two at the minute and just not able to quite stick with the guys in front. And the other closest fights at the minute, not that I can see on circuit. Everyone else is pretty much spread out. So your closest fight is your top 3, and actually probably Langley onto the back of Duffin is probably your closest fight on circuit. It's a great racing nonetheless here, though, Lexi, but kind of like everyone's kind of stalemate because the toe just seems to stop them.
Yeah, welcome to Paul Ricard. Welcome to Paul Ricard. GT3s, you can make the argument. GT4s, it's a bit more tricky. But you've got all these guys. They're fighting at the moment. 3:44 left on the clock. So we will be going on to the penultimate lap in race number 1. But other than that, there's not really any moves done. You've got Ramsell on the back of Tipping, but he's not close enough to get the move done there. And Horvath is back moving, finally. And that's it, really. You've got John Godet, who's in a little bit of a gap right now. He's just chilling in P number 6. Down the main straight, here comes the question. Is O'Reilly going to get another run here on the penultimate? We'll have to wait and see. Duffin having to defend from Langley. So right now, it seems like the main aggressors in this race who are looking to get the moves done here in the final 2 is going to be Langley and O'Reilly. And actually, DeBont is basically on the back of Yo. It seems like he got a lot better turn 1 and 2 than the leader.
He did indeed, and Yo now having to look in his rear view. O'Reilly's not quite close enough to DeBont either, so for a moment here, Yo might be in trouble as they head into turn 5. And Yo, just like I said, just has to keep it clean and tidy, and he'll have his first on-track win. He's already had a win this season, obviously due to an exclusion of a driver, but right now DeBont is right there. This is now where the tow will work better. He's right underneath the back of Darren Yo's car. If he's able to make it work now, but you can see the straight line of Yo's car is very sleek in a straight line, but this thing's not running a lot of wing, and they're about to hit the rev limiter, and that is it. No more from DeBont. Can he stay close enough just to make Yo crack, make a mistake as he head into the fast flowing 8s as they turn in? DeBont has a better turn in. Yo goes a little bit wider, he looks a little bit slower, he's under pressure, he has to defend. And DeBont looking up the inside. Is that an opportunity? Gives him a shove and a push, and DeBont up the inside, but Yo might come back at him yet. He'll have a better exit, and DeBont obviously straight in defensive as Yo flashing the lights. Obviously they left the door open, so DeBont was always going to come along the inside, and DeBont now takes the lead of the race.
Yeah, well, he's got a chance to fight back. He's close enough for the time being. You've going now through the final few corners. It's going to be the final lap of this first race at the Paul Ricard circuit. Don't go too wide. Don't get a drive through. That will be very much on the limit there for the bod. So now all these drivers are on the final lap now. Gotta go down the main straight. Gotta go past the pit lane. And O'Reilly at the front row seat to this. Yo is right there with them. All the way down the main straight into turn number 1. Then into turn number 2. All up against these drivers. All locked in this fight. All having an absolute skirmish. But now it's going to be dropping off the back of the race leader for Yo. Does DeBont have this locked in? It may be controversial how he got it. But you leave the door open. Somebody's going to go for it. And now you've got Yo who has to drive through. Penalty! Pushing it way too hard. Drive through on the final lap. That's going to put him down and down and down outside the top 10. And that is what happens when you push your car too much. Now Matthew Duffin, all he has to do is hold off Langley, and he has a podium in his grasp down the back straight. It seems like it comes down to this. White flag flies. Final lap. Millington also has a drive-through. It's a bad day for the It's a bad day for the units of GBR and the SimPlay umbrella. Quantum with a drive-through. GBR with the drive-through. Anybody else gonna get a drive-through? We'll have to find out. Who knows? Bond could get a drive-through. In the final corner, it's going to be O'Reilly, who has a front row seat to all of this. He may not have the win here, but in the background you see Langley all over the back of Matthew Duffin here. And now into these final corners. Is it going to be Bond? Will he hold on to it? Will there be last minute drama? But he needs to get it absolutely perfect, which he does. Round the final corner, will go to the line. DeBont flushes the headlights, wins race 1 here at Paul Ricard. O'Reilly gets promoted to P number 2 with Matthew Duffin P number 3. Yo may have the fastest, but he's also got a 30-second penalty, Dan.
He has indeed, and we'll have to wait for the official results right at the very end to get that result. But either way, Smith comes to the line for good points in 9th place. Cox in his debut finishing the top 10, which is good. Leach in 11th, Flop 12th, with Bell finishing in 13th place position. Aberdeen in 14th, with Taylor coming in that 15th place position. Ramsell in 16th. Millington in the end, drive through as well. He'll drop down the order. We're tipping, moving up in order as well. Cummings then coming to the line with Archer in that 20th position. Obviously all this will change due to the results. Hovath has finished the race and will cross the line at the back of the pack. Cherrymore just behind Archer, with Marsden in 22nd, and Stardog in the end a lap down. We'll just wait for the points to update. But Darren Yo will keep fastest lap of the race, so at least he's got that in his pocket. But wow, a dramatic first race indeed. And there is your official results. And it is De Bont from O'Reilly, from Duffin, from Langley, from Goudet, from McGowan, Wright, Smith, Cox, Leach, Flop, Bell, Yo, Aberdeen, Taylor, Ramsell, Tipping, Cummings, Archer, Cherrymore, Millington, Marsden, Stardog, and Hovnath. We'll be back in a few moments' time as we are going to go to a quick break. We'll be back in a few moments' time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport. We are now into the second qualifying session of the night. And once again, we are about to get racing back underway for another sprint race ahead of us. But DeBont taking the race win out of that one. And try and update the tables as I go along. But Lexi, an interesting first race nonetheless. It was interesting racing, a bit hard racing as well, but it was definitely exciting to watch.
Yeah, I mean, we saw what happened in those dying stages. Drive-through penalties. It's a testament to show why this circuit can be so tricky, especially when it comes down to the qualifying runs, but even more in the actual race setting. The track limits can be absolute killers, and now you've got to be careful. You've got to play your cards correctly, because as you go into these qualifying runs, you've got plenty of drivers out there who are going to want to set their lap times. Matthew Duffin, once again, leading the way at the start of qualifying.
He is indeed. He's got Smith just behind him as well. I'm going to go on board with a different driver, as we did go a lap with Duffin last time out. So let's go with Lexi's Industries driver, shall we, for this one, Lexi? And we're on board with Smith as he sets himself up ready for this qualifying session. Obviously a short qualifying session as well, due to the format. We only got 7 minutes for this session. And head towards turn number 1.
Yeah, I mean, outlap, you've only got to have time to really get 2 laps in a third if you're lucky. You're down into turn number 1, into turn number 2, and then kicking the bollard out of the way. Bye-bye, bollard, you're not needed today. And then into the rest of this circuit, making the way through as quickly as possible. Into the right-hander now of turn number 4, into 5, into 4, then into 5. And then 6 and 7 are coming your way. The nice flow, the easy flow, as you head around the long corners of 6 and 7 onto the back straight as it backs out. As you now come down the back straight and now onto the lines as well. As coming down the back straight, how long is it going to be until we top out? Usually just after the chicane, Dan.
Usually just as we get to the chicane, and then coming into the, I find the most difficult part of the circuit, into the long medium speed corners. First the fast flowing turn 8, break at the 50-meter wall, drop down a gear, get the front end to turn in and try not to take too much damage, swoop back onto the circuit, and then into the very long turn 9. Stay within the grooves, go out the grooves, you will then be into the horrible Leclerc section and then into the wall. Heading now down towards turn number 10, opening up the circuit to then tighten out towards the end of turn 10, and then finally through kind of, you would say this is 12, but it's not really a corner, so we won't really call it 12, into then the left-hander of turn 12. You can V-shape it, so go in tight, go out wide and then tight again, and then into turn 13. Do not take the inside curb, but Smith will do. He unsettles the car, sends the car wide, and will ruin your lap time. But Smith has now come to the line, and it's going to be a 2:05 set by Duffin, and already Yo goes quicker. He finds 6/10 on Duffin already, as McGowan gets within 2/10 of Matthew Duffin. Flop, meanwhile, sets a times, puts him in 4/10 away, so good lap times pumping in there, and Ramsell just drops down the order. Matt Wright gets ahead of Duffin this time round, and O'Reilly once again only P7, now P8, just struggling to put the lap times on the board, and DeBont now sets the fastest lap of the session with a 2:04.7.
Yeah, 2:04.7, not too bad. Again, just avoid a drive-through this time, and now you head all throughout this section of the circuit, going to hold on to these lines and trying to make as many moves as possible. Cox, Aberdeen yet to get lap times in, same with Millington, Starlog, Langley and Leach. Of course, we're going to have to hope that there's no big pile up in turn number 1 to make it a true parking lot, but it seems like we learn from our mistakes, and there will be no argy-bargy around the exit coming through these corners. So now 1 minute 30 left on the clock. We've got qualifying on the way still, but it's coming to an end quite quickly, I would say, because time has already flown by. It's a 7-minute qualifying session, and there's only 1 minute 18 left.
Yeah, exactly. So this is pretty much it for most of the guys who are in the back end of the circuit. The likes of Duffin and Yo and Smith might be able to squeeze in another lap for sure. But obviously that's the benefits of starting towards the front of the pit lane. Regarding for the pros and the pro-ams, it's really not that much of a big deal, I don't think, being at the front of the pit lane. As long as you find clean air and get a lap time on the board, that's all that really matters. But obviously for these guys, it is a rush out of the pits and then into the circuit. As Duffin,
yeah, as we've got Duffin out there as well. All these drivers coming down through these corners, gonna go to the line, and now you got all the lines. You got Matthew Duffin P2, John Gunny P number 5, McGowan now P number 4 after a slight improvement there. Rob Smith, no lap time still yet on the board, but he's got one more lap to go. Millington to the line, once again same there for him. Langley making his way through turn number 12 into turn number 13. And then onto the main straight as well. We've also got Leach, who's coming down the back straight. He's not going to have enough time to get another lap time in, so he's going to have to go for it. He will not go for another one. Neither will this man of Langley. He goes to the line. Does he get a lap time in? We're about to find out.
No.
He make?
He made the line. He made the line.
I keep on forgetting that the line is so far back here. Because you think Formula 1, it's so far forward, but no, it's actually pretty far back here. But, so he's got enough time to get another lap time in. Stardog and Millington in the pit lane. You got the last driver who's making their way around, the number 69 of these drivers. Of course, you've got Aberdeen P number 13, where he will sit. So you've got Robert Smith still out there, as well as a few other drivers. Number 55 out there as well. So a lot of drivers still making their way through. 225 out there as well, that being Langley. Stardog and the 741 in the pit lane. Millington in the pits. Got Smith out there, Bell out there as well. Bell is seemingly the second to last driver who will be getting a lap time in around here. Ramsell in the pit lane. You've got McGowan out there as well. O'Reilly is up top, 2:04.518, but he's in the pit lane. Matthew Duffin is the closest, and he's got plenty of clean air, so could he be the one to dethrone?
Possibly so. He needs to find 7 tenths, so that's got a lot of time to find. But if anyone can find it, it is Duffin. But he comes into the final corner. Now, Darren Yeo obviously wasn't far off pole position either previously, so we'll see what he could produce. But Duffin to the line, isn't it improvement? No, it's not. As now Yeo comes to the line, can he get himself any higher? No, he does not. So lap times coming in thick and fast, but no improvements as McGowan now splits Yeo and Duffin. Flop only goes into P7 with that one, and I think that is it. We got Matt Wright now coming to the line, 1.3 off the pace. He now dethrones Duffin and drops him further back, and it is then just Langley, I believe, to set a lap time. He hasn't got a lap time on the board. Has he kept it within limits? That is the question. Coming to the line now. What can Langley do? And he goes P3 with that one. Good lap time from Langley there, putting him into the top 3. What a qualifying session. Once again, going the way of O'Reilly on that one. And another point to his name for that pole position. And although he started off with a slow start to this session, he definitely is building that up now. And a decent lap time once again from DeBont and Langley and Goudet getting up there as well, really mixing it with the top guys. And Lexi, once again, while I get a poll going, do you want to have a quick run through of the grid order for race 2?
Of course. So O'Reilly lines up on pole position with Bond P2. Langley lines up in P number 3 with John Goudet P number 4. Matt Wright sits P number 5 with Matthew Duffin P number 6 to round out the third row of the grid. Then McGowan and Yo who line up in P number 7 and 8. Highest silver is Langley in P number 3. Then Flop in P number 9 with Ramsell to round out the top 10 2 times in a row. It's then Cummings, Cox, Horvath, Aberdeen, then Cherrymore starts P number 15, being the fastest bronze driver out there. It's then going to be Smith, Bell, Archer, Marsden, Tipping, Taylor, Millington, and then you've also got Stardog and Leach. So that is how the grid order will line up.
It is indeed, and I am getting there eventually. But let's see, obviously, going into this second race, the guys kind of have an idea of what they're going into now. I took the first win with DeBont. Who are you going for this time?
10 seconds.
I am going to go with O'Reilly. Again, I'm going to stick to my guns. I am sure that if I keep on saying O'Reilly, then I'm going to be right eventually.
Well, he is on pole position, so it's a very good opportunity for him. Sadly, he is on the dirty side of the circuit, so not the better side, really. So we will see if he'll be able to get the jump. DeBont obviously didn't, and that's how Yo pretty much led most of the race, but DeBont did eventually get that position back. So we shall see. But remember, guys, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you do not miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And also, while you're at it as well, have a look at our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport as well. And if you like what they see, if you like what they do as well, follow their Facebook and their Instagram and their Facebook, their website as well. All their fantastic stuff on there. Get votes in on who you think is going to win this one. Again, I've chosen the top 4 of this race, but if you think otherwise, then please put in the chat. And obviously, another thing that I want to quickly discuss before we get into racing, Lexi, Benny Archer obviously joins us on the other side of the world, our local Australian on the grid. He's actually set up during this week off as well. He set up a SimPlay World Rally Championship. He's got the WRC series going on, and it is literally started. And a quick chat around that, because obviously rallying is completely different to obviously ACC. He set up stages, he set up what each week's going to be, and it looks interesting for sure.
Yeah, I hit some logs and did 2 barrel rolls.
Not a rally driver then.
If you're in the Discord, you've seen it, so it's in the general chat. If you're in the Discord, you've seen it, so.
Yeah, like I said, Benny Archer, obviously a massive fan of World Rally, and I think a majority of us here on SimPlay Motorsport love our motorsport, and it's nice that he's come forward and said, look, let's do a rally championship. And the way it works, obviously, it's you set a stage, you go on it, you set your best time through the stage, and basically whoever sets the best lap time wins the week. And it's nice of him to set something like that up. Obviously, the Xbox boys were having issues with their games, and obviously done a lot of work to do that. So at the minute, I'm not looking at doing it. I'm not the best rally driver. Back in the Dirt 2, maybe Dirt 3 days, I was quite a good rally driver, but it's all about circuit racing for me now. But Lexi, you're saying O'Reilly for the win. I think we're gonna have a different winner. I think we're gonna have either Langley or Goudet, maybe possibly giving them a bit of a headache. I'm gonna go Langley for this one, actually. Langley's gonna hate me for cursing him, but I'm gonna go Langley.
Of course you are. Don't you always go Langley? I swear you always go Langley. Actually, no, you always go O'Reilly, so.
I went DeBont last time.
I am gonna pretend like I did not hear that.
Nice.
Yeah, you did no such thing. We have clear proof on the stream that you did not say that.
I said DeBont. I said,
are you sure you didn't say bonk?
DeBont. Nice try.
Are you sure you didn't say bonk? Because I'm not gonna lie, like if you get a hammer and you take it to a car, you are bonking the car. So either way, you're gonna find out. As the formation lap comes to an end, all the drivers are gonna go double file. It is Paul Ricard. It's an optimum track surface, 32 degree track, 24 degree ambient, no rain on the forecast, and the radars are clear. It's Paul Ricard, it's the parking lot, and all eyes will now go to the gantry lights, and it is going to be green flag drops, and we are racing. That's going to be a very, very good start for Matthew Duffin. It seemed no move done yet, though. Tried to go to the left, did not work out on the right hand side. The Bond Now looking for the move. Going to be on the outside for turn number 1. We'll give him the inside line at turn number 2. Making his way through already around the outside. Is he going to take the lead? It's going to be wheel to wheel, side by side with O'Reilly. Through turn number 1, through turn number 2. O'Reilly has the outside line. Going to try and carry more momentum. As he will keep it going. Will he get it done? Langley's also going to be there. Is he going to follow through? O'Reilly's going to be holding out there through and round. O'Reilly holds on to the lead, but now here comes Langley. Also going to have Millington. Also going to have right up against Matthew Duffin. Wide on the exit. The Bun holds on the position. And seemingly no yellows so far. Nice and clean this time round. But Matthew Duffin stays ahead of Matt Wright. Yo also there. Lots of different drivers, and that's going to be Flop, who gets pit maneuvered and into the barrier. He now goes. That is going to be the LIR driver, who is down and round. He's not had a good race so far this evening. Now it's going to be John Goodey, who is on the back of another. Langley's trying to hold on to P number 3. John Goodey may have something to say about it. Down as they rev out and Atmill, top of the limiter. Very wide for John Goodey, but also very, very wide. Definitely track limits there for Langley, but no moves done so far.
Yeah, O'Reilly did the job there. He made sure he stayed out in front of DeBont. It was very, very close, but DeBont did get close to possibly taking the lead and doing what Yo did to him in the previous race. But O'Reilly holds on. Langley, though, had a sniff and opportunity of trying to get the pair of them as well, but didn't quite get the opportunity. Goudet, meanwhile, staying within the group. But Matt Wright, in the end, just losing out to Duffin. And in the end, Duffin gaining a position there. Yo not really moving forward as he probably would have wanted. And like you said, Flop dropping to the back of the pack. Everyone else, though, relatively clean and under control. And Flop now just working his way back to the back of the pack. And lap 1 done. And it is O'Reilly leading the way from DeBont, from Langley, from Goudet, from Duffin, from Wright, from Yo, from Ramsell, from Aberdeen, from Cummings. Then it's going to be Bell, Leach, Smith, Cox, Cherrymore, Hovnath, Marsden, Tipping, Taylor, Millington, McGowan, Stardog, and then Flop and Archer bringing up the rear on that one as we head back to the front of the pack. Not really much going on there, and I think Leach was going wheel to wheel with Bell. He has managed to get ahead of Bell, and Bell managed to drop back into the clutches of Smith in the Lexi Industries racing car, and Cox just behind, also Cherrymore as well. A load of cars close to one another. And you are right, Martin, there was a Colin McRae rally series just before the dirt series, and that led into the dirt series, so you are very correct on that one. And we're now on to WRC Generations, and O'Reilly leads the way from DeBont and Langley and Goudet.
I'm too young to remember before the dirt series. Feel old yet, Dan?
Thanks. I feel ancient now.
You're welcome. As they head down into turn number 8, it's going to be all over the place. These guys are having an absolute fight down the back straight as well. You've got plenty of drivers in this fight. Everybody's kind of clustered up a little bit now. Cox trying to make his way through. Flop having to become on a recovery drive after that manoeuvre, which he got caught up in. Through turn number 7.
Oh, contact further back. Sorry, Smith and Bell possibly, or Cox maybe are coming together, but Smith ended up round. Hovnath, there you go. Hovnath ended up coming together with him and dropping down the order. So contact made there. But the leaders out in front. Still. Replay time. Replay is the most handy tool that you're going to have. Meanwhile, Cummings is under pressure from Leach, who has got fastest lap. I think that's going to go. Bell looking up the inside of Leach. That's a fair move. And Bell there is still now into the slipstreams of Cummings as Leach is trying to just defend him off. Feeling old now indeed. No worries, Martin. So am I, to be honest.
Okay, this is interesting. This is very interesting here. Because Rob goes wide, and then it seems like, who was there with him? So Rob goes wide, Cox comes in with way too much speed, hits into Rob, which spins him round. Cox is able to catch it and keep going. However, then Horvath just gets caught up in it.
So kind of a racing instant kind of scenario.
Not really. Cox just go. I don't know if it's because he went out, but he's still on the acceleration. I'm looking at his commentary, like, he goes in. Oh, I think he locks up. I think he locks up and goes straight on because he put those brakes all the way to the max. So I think that was a lockup by Corse, which sent him into Rob, and then Hovarth just got caught up in it. So not much Hovarth could do there.
Yeah, fair enough.
Oh, Matt Wright's round. Not round, wide. That was very wide from Matt. Jeez. Yo is going to go for the move down the inside, possibly. But no, Matt's going to hold on to the position. Never mind.
Wright holds on to that position indeed. Meanwhile, further back, McGowan is on a recovery drive, starting towards the back of the pack. He's currently now P18, going up the inside of Millington through the fast flowing of Wright. Turn 9, and Millington gets a shove on the side, and he now drops down the order. And Millington now loses out big time. Leach, meanwhile, has got past Cummings now and has dropped him, and is now looking to try and work his way onto the back of Ramsell. O'Reilly, though, setting fast up of the road, crossing the line, and De Bont is right on his bumper. Langley not able to go with him. He's got Goudet chasing him down, and Duffin just a little bit further back. We've got Matt Wright and Yo close to one another as well. And
Yeah, it's
go on.
all these. I'm just looking at the leaders. You carry on.
Yeah, we've got Yo onto the back of Wright, and Wright actually through the first couple of corners there has pulled away from Darren ever so slightly. So Matt just finding a little bit more pace and confidence through there. Meanwhile, De Bont and O'Reilly are still going at it towards the front, and I think O'Reilly is going to have that blue Ginetta for company pretty much the entire length of this race to try and swoop their way through the left-hander.
Swoopy, swoopy. Sorty and sweep. Sorty and sweep. Who doesn't love a bit of sorty and sweep? Because you need to sweep your way around the outside.
And up the inside, meanwhile, is Flop trying and find a way through on Stardog, and into the slipstream goes Flop. And I think once again they're just going to end up topping out once they get to the back end of the long straight. Oh no, actually Flop's got a decent run. They're going to at least go side by side. Meanwhile, just ahead of him is McGowan and Marsden. They are going side by side as well, heading towards the fast right-hander of turn 8. And I think Marsden is going to have to back out on that one, because McGowan's pretty much got the job done. No, they're going to give each other a racing room. Better in the chat, evening all. Great to be back on, and McGowan doesn't get the job done, and Stardog loses out to Flop as well.
So that's what's happened there. That's a very unfortunate one. Very wide as well. Oh my god! Like, lots of people are going wide here. Marsden went wide, has given McGowan an opportunity to fly through, and god damn. Like, there's a lot of cars out there tonight. Like, it's all over the place. You got so many fights, and apparently Matthew Duffin is doing a good old flash to John Goudet, which I'm not gonna lie, the black, the pink, the green. Honestly, I didn't know that Team GBR had Christmas stockings as cars. As you got Matthew Duffin all over the back of him as he heads through these corners, through turn number 1, through turn number 2, and then down into the braking zones, through the turn number 4, 5, 6. As I have no idea why somebody would suspect for me to talk about Christmas. Like, genuinely, it's only 4 months away.
Too early. Way too early. Yo, meanwhile, Yo is going up the inside of Matt Wright, and job done for Darren Yo. Clean and smooth done. And through he goes. Another position gain for him. Ramsell trying to hunt them guys down, but is not able to do so at the minute. Meanwhile, O'Reilly still got De Bont covered. And Langley just in no man's land at the minute, currently sat in P3, as now Goudet has got Duffin hunting him down bit by bit. And at the minute, although Duffin keeps flashing lights, is really not hesitating Goudet at the minute. And Goudet holding off that P4 position at the moment in time.
Yeah. Well, be careful, Mr. Matthew Duffin, because you don't want to get a penalty for excessive flashing of your headlights. So just be careful with your headlights, okay? Just be careful with them as you head down the back straight through the right-handers. Honestly, did you know that the Miatas probably got removed from the stadium after they lost the headlights in cars? As you got all these drivers, you got McGowan as well making his way through. Marsden there as well. Flops in the middle of Marsden and Stardog. So Stardog has lost out another position here. So it's plenty of these drivers out there. Still going to have Rob Smith as well. Not a good day for my team. 7-4-1. It's going to be Stardog with a drive-through penalty. That's the first one of race number 2. Here comes Flop now around the outside on Marsden. And now threading through turn number 11 into turn number 12. Very wide there for Marsden. And that's going to give Flop an opportunity to fly through up in a P number 17.
Yeah, Flop slowly just working his way through the order, and another position gain, and Stardog straight into the pits to serve his drive-through. Meanwhile, O'Reilly and DuPont still kind of set at about 4/10. Langley off the back, and Goudet just absorbing all the pressure from Duffin at this stage. Of kind of top 9 at the minute, all kind of stable. As we've got Bell under some pressure from Aberdeen and Cummins. They're coming quite close to the back of the Road Runners Motors driver. As they go swooping through the first sector into the back straight, and Bell running very, very wide. Stardog gets his drive-through done. Bell going wide, obviously giving an advantage, getting a good little slingshot out of the first sector. Probably got a ping for that though, as Cummings now right on the back bumper of Aberdeen.
Yeah, all over the back of them. So now you fight for these positions as well. The gap between O'Reilly and Bont, still nice and tidy, still nice and close, but all over the back of him. One mistake from O'Reilly could give the Bont this, but does not seem like it either. You've got all these drivers fighting as well as you head through the right-hander now. You've got Aberdeen, who is trying to chase down the car in front of that being Bell. He wants inside that top 10. Cummins is right behind him as well as Cherrymore. 7:45 left on the clock, Dan.
All still to play for indeed, though, Lexi. Plenty of opportunities to come. And like I said, the top 9 have been relatively stable, except for DeBont O'Reilly, which that has now come down quite significantly, and Duffin and Goudet as well. Darren Yeo's been trying to get onto the back of these guys, but have not got the pace at this moment in time. And once again, they cross the line, 2/10 separating Goudet and Duffin. And Leach as well, starting to work his way onto the back of Ramsell, who's also cashing onto the back of Matt Wright further back. Meanwhile, we got Bell defending heavily from Aberdeen as they head toward turn number 1. Possibly the best overtaking opportunity, and they look to the inside, but no can do as Cherrymore gets quite close to the back of Cummings as well, with Taylor just on the back, and McGowan onto the backs of Cox now and looking to find a way through. He has a much better run through turn 1 and 2. That'll give him a lovely run heading down towards 3, and should have the braking capacity down into the right-hander, and he does, and job done. Cox losing a position there.
That is unfortunate. And then down to the back straight, you've got loads of drivers here. You got Matt Wright, Ramsell. Also got Matthew Duffin all over the place. John Goodey has to defend now. Down the back straight, wheel to wheel, side by side, inches apart, millimeters, centimeters. Front row seat for Matt Wright. Yo has got in front of him. Matt Wright wants to follow. Down the back straight, don't go 3 wide. Play it safe, boys. And now into turn number 8. Around the outside is going to go Matthew Duffin. But will he hold on to it? Wheels to wheel, fighting in inches, and it's all over the place. It's going to be very, very wide. Gap now opens up. Matt Wright could follow through. No move done there, though. John Goodey still defending from Matthew Duffin. Wheel to wheel, side by side, but Matthew Duffin is about to have a rear gunner because in comes Rob Ramsell, but as well as Gary Leach.
Yeah, these guys have really concertinaed up. I'm not sure what happened to Duffin and Goudet. They had at least 2 seconds on Yo, and now they've ended up behind him. And obviously Wright's now, Ramsell's here, and Leach as well. Langley kind of cleared now in that P3 position as DeBont still giving O'Reilly a hard time, but can't find a way through at the minute, and O'Reilly not phased whatsoever by him as they head towards turn number 1. Yo now pulling away from this group with Goudet, and Ramsell and Wright now going at it for the 7th and 8th place position, but Wright hanging in there and Gary Leach showing what he can do. Cox got a drive through and he's now into the pits. Bell ahead of Aberdeen, ahead of Cherrymore and Cummings, and Taylor onto the back of him as well. Flop dropping down the order, and Millington also having a fight with Marston. Everyone else kind of in a particular order, but DeBont still giving O'Reilly a hard time down towards the back straight. This is the closest he's been down the back straight. This is going to be interesting going up towards the fast flowing turn 8, and Ramsell now gets a drive through for track limits.
Another one bites the dust, so that is what happened there, and it's down and done. No idea. It's unfortunate for him, but that is just the way it happens, and it's the way the cookie crumbles. Less than 5 minutes in race number 2. We're 2 for 2 on drive-throughs here, Dan. That's 2 drive-throughs for 2 drivers in 2 races.
Yeah, but more importantly, DeBont leads the race. He managed to get the job done into turn 8. A little bit more confidence on the brakes, and up the inside he goes. O'Reilly now drops to 2nd. So O'Reilly losing the lead of this race, and DeBont looking like he's going to try and take 2 for 2 if he can.
Yeah, well, O'Reilly may have something to say about it. It's got a bit more time left. We will be going on to penultimate here, as I have had a moment with my ACC.
That sounded like a song then. I've had a moment with my ACC.
Well, I'm trying to make it nonchalant and discreet. So right now, what's happening on circuit?
DeBont obviously coming to the line now, leads this one, fastest lap of the race to his name, and now starts to put a little bit of a gap on O'Reilly. Possibly the weight starting to hurt him. Ramsor is coming to a drive through, but he's actually stopped in the pits. I'm not sure if that might, I'm not sure what he's doing there. He'll have to come out again, although he'll be at the back of the pack, but everyone else kind of leveled themselves out a little bit. Meanwhile, further back, we've still got Bell holding up the entire train. He's got Aberdeen, Cummings, Taylor, Cherrymore, and now McGowan all within a group of cars, and really no opportunities to come through as Stardog once again gets another drive through for track limits.
If I had a nickel for every time Stardog got a drive through, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. But either way, all aboard the Bell Express train, which we'll be calling out Paul Ricard. And you now come down into turn number 7, then into turn, well, through turn number 6, into turn number 7. That train is all aboard and right up to speed, and now heading down the back straight, it's going to start to rev out, as you've also got McGowan on the back of Cherrymore, who's going to be up against him now. We're into the slipstream, into the toe, into the right-hander, down the back straight and all the way into the braking zone. Who's it going to be? Past the chicane, a little bit of contact.
Yeah,
a little bit of a love tap.
A little bit of argy-bargy there between those two, but it's going to be McGowan. He's going to have the inside for the fast-flowing right-hander of turn 8, and he will get the job done. Turns in, job done there, and Cherrymore losing a position. Can he make any more positions as we now coming to the start of our final lap here? And still Goudet trying to defend off Duffin, who's been up his back bumper for pretty much the majority of this race. But out of the final corner, DeBont ahead of O'Reilly, and 1 lap to go. I think this is going to be a long night's worth of fighting between these two. 1 more race to go, and at the minute, DeBont is in the pound seat.
Give it a final push.
Yeah, well, can he go 2 for 2? We'll have to wait and see. As it was down to this, it comes down to it now. It is all to play for at the circuit, Paul Ricard. You come into these final few laps and you now come to the view. It is all these drivers one last time round the circuit. They got another race and another qualifying after this, but it is now 1 more chance coming into this final lap. Who is going to hold on to it? Who will come out on top? We're going to find out. O'Reilly now has 1 last chance down the back straight to ensure that Bond does not go 2 for 2.
He's going to try his best, but I don't think he's got it in him. I think that one little run that DeBont had was enough, and I think DeBont might be able to hold him off. Meanwhile, it's the fight between Goudet and Duffin that's more important. 4 tenths was separating them as they came on towards the back section of the circuit. Stardog leaving his pit stop to, his drive-through to the very last limit here. But as we head up to the fast right-hander, it is still DeBont from O'Reilly. Langley kind of in no man's land in P3, but he'll be happy with that one indeed. And Yo gaining at P4 as a loss to Duffin and Goudet. But into the final few corners now. Lexi, it's been another titanic fight between the top two, between DeBont and O'Reilly. And it looks like DeBont is going to make it 2 from 2 as long as he keeps it all together. A little bit loose on the back end there, but DeBont has managed to find a way through, gain the position, and then defend right to the very end as O'Reilly gets a little bit close on the brakes. He's going to run wide though, and that's going to hurt him into the final corner, and that is job done. The 64, that is Bell, gets a drive through after that monstrous defense, but it's going to be DeBont who takes the win here ahead of O'Reilly. Then it's going to be a Langley in that P3 position, a great job from him. Darren Yo is going to make it up into the top 4 position, and great points for him. Goudet is going to finish in P5 with Duff in P6, Matt Wright P7, Leach in P8. Bell is obviously going to drop down the order, but he's got Aberdeen right behind him. Aberdeen can literally follow him home. And across the line, Bell on circuit goes 9th ahead of Aberdeen, ahead of Cummings, then Taylor, then McGowan, Cherrymore. Then it is going to be finishing flop in that 15th place position. Millington will finish in 16th with Marsden in 17th place position. Hovnath in 18th. Smith is going to be in 19th. 20th for Tipping. Cox in the end for 21st. He's got Archer right behind him, right to the very end. As they come to the line, here comes Archie. He's not going to get him in the end. Stardog 23rd, and Yo in the end, I believe, dropped back to the pits after he received his drive through. And that is that. Another race win for DeBont there. As we'll be back in a few moments' time as we will get the final qualifying session underway here. And we will be back in a few moments' time. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to SimPlay Motorsport as we are now into our third and final qualifying session of the day. And we still got some great action yet to come in the week. We got the Pro-Am boys going on the circuit tomorrow night after, like I said, a week away from racing. I bet they're looking forward to getting back on track and back to the fight that they were all in. As we now come to start the qualifying laps, we'll go on another drive once again. We shall go with, let's go with De Bont on this one. Regarding the championship standings, I'm not sure where my co-host has disappeared to, but hopefully she'll be back shortly.
Hello.
There she is, very loud.
Speak of the devil, and I shall appear.
We are about to get into we are now into the qualifying session now, Lexi, but the championship standings looks like this. O'Reilly leads the way, 276 points ahead of Duffin in second. Third is McGowan. Fourth is Skunky. 1/5 is Tordock. Sixth is Friedman, and in seventh is Wright. Yo in eighth with Snai in ninth. 10th is Gude Ramsel in 11th. Leach 14th. Langley 15th. Silth in 16th. Carlos in 17th. Cranes in 18th with Millington in 19th. Aberdeen in 20th. Varga 21st with Bolton 22nd. Flop 23rd. 22nd, Tipping. I was reading that wrong the entire time. Sorry, Tipping 22nd, Bell 23rd, Taylor 24th with Hoffner 25th, Smith in 26th, Marston 27th, Archer 28th with Cherrymore 29th, Johnson 30th, Stardog 31st, Kneebone 32nd, De Bont 33rd, Fernie 34th, Storick 35, Cummings 36th, Hovnaf 37th, Old Sim Racer 38th, Cox 39th, Williams in 40th, 41st best, Raiden 42nd, and that is it for the drivers. Your teams, meanwhile, Dapper Racing still lead the way, 98 points ahead of Greasy Bandits Racing, as SimPlay Racing are in P3, Team GBR in 4th, RRM in 5th, Quantum Motorsport in 6th, MSA in 7th, 8th is Ballbusters Racing, Team Piston Pounders in 9th, CT Motorsport in 10th, 11th is G&D Racing, CGT Motorsport in 12th, Roadrunners Motorsport in 13th, Team Autosport 14th, Blunt Force Racing 15th, Lexi's Industry 16th, Soldor Racing in 17th, 18th is OWR Racing, 2Cs Racing in 19th, Team FBR in 20th, Team Tom 21st, Apex GP in 22nd, and that is your championship standings. As we are back and underway racing here, and O'Reilly sets the pace straight away with a 2-minute 04.6. And that's the championship standings updated there.
Let's go. That is great and all over the place. And it is going to be all these drivers. O'Reilly making his way through with Yo as well. Matthew Duffin is all over the place at the moment. He's currently holding on to his position. 1:50 at the moment left on the qualifying clock. And now into the left-hander as well. Down the back straight, you've got O'Reilly, who's currently fastest. Still quite a few drivers yet to set a lap time.
Yes, indeed, and they're all probably going to get one more lap underneath, except for the guys who are crossing the line now. Run the back straight, and I think a lot of the guys towards the back end of the circuit will, like I say, get another lap in on the board. And we got, like I said, O'Reilly at the minute from Yo, from Duffin, from Stardog, from Aberdeen, Cherrymore, Cox, Millington, Smith, Hovnaf, and Archer all in those positions at the minute and still waiting for representative times as Leach now crosses to the line and puts himself in P3. And that looks like it's going to be McGowan coming to the line. Yes, it is. And he puts himself into P3.
So that improvement there, less than a minute on the clock. You got Bont, who is yet to get a lap time in. Same with Ramsel and Flop. Flop's going to be looking for a good improvement here. Unfortunately, what happened on lap one in the last race, but now into these final few corners, O'Reilly is setting up for a brand new lap here. Very slow through the final corner, and it is going all over the place. Matthias, welcome in. It's been an interesting race 1 and race 2 so far. Bont now starting a lap time, his final lap time here at Paul Ricard, Dan.
he does improve, and Yo improves as well, goes within 4/10, and that is about as much he can do. McGowan, as Goudet, sorry, goes into P5. I think Duffin's final run has been held up a little bit by Bell, so he's probably not going to get the best final run for him. As we come to the line now, 2 seconds to the line, and I think that was possibly Langley gets himself into P3. Cherrymore gets another lap on the board, and I think there's Matt Wright and Millington, so both of the Quantum guys do get another lap. Flops in the wall, and Langley goes P3 and can't improve on that. Obviously, he could not get another lap in on the board. O'Reilly is back into the pits. Leach is done by the listings as well. Goudet on a lap still. A few guys still to complete a lap time. Aberdeen now coming to the line. What improvement? None to find there. Like I said, a few more drivers just to find a little bit more pace.
Still yet to improve. We've got all these drivers. Bont is going to be the key one to watch as they head through these final few corners into the upside down mustache section, as I've come to call it. But realistically, it's turn 10, 11, 12, 13. But now into the left hand, they're going to hold the line nice and tight. A little bit of a bump there in the road as he hits the curb. But now all over the place through the right-hander and into the left again. One more time through turn number 12 into the braking zone of turn number 13. Through the right-hander and then across to the line. Where will Bont go? Keeps it in track limits. He currently sits with no lap time on the board, but Bont has gone 2 for 2 so far. Will he go top? No, he will not. Only P2. But that is race 2-esque. Once again, it's O'Reilly pole, Bont P2. I don't think anybody's going to be able to dethrone him because we've only got a few more drivers that are on the grid. If it's going to be anybody, it could be, then I'm going to say that, but Matt Wright is not looking to get an improvement either. So I would say that's it, done and dusted.
Yeah, Darren Yo was on a lap. He did improve, but didn't get really under the 0.4 of a second that he needed. And we got one more car now coming to the line. That is the 186 of Cherrymore. Good qualifying session there for him. He ended up P9 in the end. Only a couple of hundredths, a couple of tenths off the back of Matthew Duffin. So good lap time there from Cherrymore to get that on the board. And nice to see you in the chat, Matthias, as well. And boom. Lap time on the board, ready for the final race here tonight. And O'Reilly takes another pole position to his name. And note that down. So now going into the third and final race of the evening, Lexi, and an interesting grid once again. We've got the two boys who've looked really, really dominant all evening. Once again going at it for glory here tonight. Do us another run through of the grid order as I will get the poll going for the final pine this evening for race 3 here at Paul Ricard.
At race 2, it sits on the front row. It is going to be Kyle O'Reilly who sits up top, and then it's Bont P number 2. Then Yo P number 3 with McGowan P number 4. Langley sits P number 5 with Gary Leach P number 6. Those are the first two silver drivers with John Gray silver sat behind them as well. Matthew Duffin sits in P number 8. Then the first of the bronze drivers sits in P number 9, that being Cherrymore and Flop rounds out the top 10. It's then Stardock, Ramsell, Aberdeen, Cox, Matt Wright, Steve Millington, Rob Smith, Horvath, Bell, Cummins, Archer, Marsden, Tipping, and then Taylor will round out the grid for the final race this evening. It is a 20-minute race to come your way. 32 degree track temperature, optimum track surface, 24 ambient, no rain on the forecast. And in just a few moments' time, in fact, just about now, the formation lap gets underway.
It does indeed. Nicely done there, Lexi. Even though my headphones were getting a bit laggy there with you holding your breath for as long. But a reminder as well, guys, if you haven't done so, please hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified. If you do want to be a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport, then please head over to the Discord and get yourself signed up to the channel. Join the Discord, join the Sim Grid, and get yourself a part of the action here at SimPlay Motorsport. Obviously, we have the Ginetta Whodarron Cup running on a Tuesday night, and on a Wednesday night we have the Pro-Ams. Make sure you do a hot stint as well, so we're able to categorize you in the correct category, and with that we will put you in the right group. So Pro-Am on a Wednesday night with myself bringing you all the action, and then Thursday night will then be Sweet and Sticky in your box. That is Matthew Duffin and Kelly Davis bringing you all the action once again for the pro drivers. And like I said, our fantastic sponsors, Design Manchester and Audio Sport, their links are in the description below. And if you do want to be a part of the sponsorship here at SimPlay Motorsport, then feel free to join the Discord and get in contact with the admin members, and we will try our very best to organise the best support for you and your business as well. And drivers as well, if you do want to help us support the channel as much as we possibly can, then head over to our Patreon page and get yourself signed up to that. Once you're signed up to the Patreons, it's £3 a month. You will get exclusive stuff that only you as Patreons will get. For example, you'll be able to reserve a race number, so that number can never be used. For example, I run the number 16, so as a Patreon, that number will only be used for me and me only. Also, you'll be given your YouTube, your Twitch, and any form of links of that will automatically be added into our driver streams in the Discord. And also, if you have any promos of your group or your channel on anything on Instagram or TikTok, then we will promote it on ours as well. As long as we do have the season selection for circuits, which the Patreons get to choose which circuits are on the calendar for next season once we have all of our data, and then also the time of day as well. So many benefits of being a Patreon there, Alexi. And now we're about to get ready to go racing for the final time. Who's your money on for this one?
O'Reilly.
Huh?
O'Reilly, of course. I'm going to get it right eventually.
Well, I'm going to Bont. So we might get a completely different winner, because we know the commentator's curse is real. And
on last race, you said the Bon in race 2, Dan, and you said it in race 1.
No, I said the Bont in race 1. I said Langley in race 2.
Anyways, let's get ready to go racing, shall we?
I know I'm old, Lexi, but I'm not that old.
You're old enough to. I'm pretty sure you're old enough to be my father.
I'm about as old as the PlayStation 1. I think I'm near enough the same age as the PlayStation 1. Couple of months out, but pretty much the same age. So
I'm the same age. I'm trying to. Was the Wii released in 2005?
I'm not knowledgeable on my 2005 consoles, to be fair.
Well, here we go. We're about to get this race underway, Dan. I did race 2. Take it away.
We are side by side going out the final corner here at Paul Ricard for the final time for the Whodarron Cup. It is O'Reilly versus the Bont once again for the front row. Who's going to take the win? Is it Ballbusters Racing or is it going to be Dapper Racing, as we now wait for the green here at Paul Ricard? We are green and go, and racing down towards turn number 1. Once again, the Bont and O'Reilly get a fairly even start as they head towards turn number 1. And Yo has a fairly decent start himself. He's going to look to the inside of O'Reilly. O'Reilly being a little bit more cautious to the inside, but the Bont once again goes around the outside. He's going to have the inside now for turn 2, but can't quite get the job done. Leach, meanwhile, makes a couple of places against McGowan and Langley, and he moves up a couple of places. And Leach on the move. Meanwhile, Duffin has managed to get past Goudet, and we got Flop as well, I think, just behind them, with Ramsell trying to work his way up the order as well. But a relatively clean start through the first sector here as they come through the final part of Sector 1. And Millington's gone round, possibly contact from Bell there as we end the part of the first sector.
To the back straight, all these drivers going to try and hold on to these positions. O'Reilly's going to hold on to his current position as well. Also going to have Yo and Leach in that battle. You got Langley, who's all over the back of Leach, and you've also got Duffin on the back of McGowan. But no, actually McGowan's there. It's John Goudet is locked in this fight. He's got Flop now up against him. Gonna fly past on the outside, gonna go wheel to wheel, side by side. Also gonna have Duffin and McGowan. All these drivers having this skirmish as they make their way into the braking zone. Flop's going to stick it on the inside. He's going to stay there with him. Round on the inside, going to be right there all the way. Keep it within the bollards as you head through turn number 8 into turn number 9 now. And Flop is going to get ahead of John Godet, but that's going to be deep, and John Godet goes for the up and under, gets the switchback done. Flop is going to have none of it. He goes and replicates it. He will get back into P number 8. These two drivers locked in this battle. Ramsel has a front row seat. John Godet makes the contact. It's going to put Flop off the circuit. Ramsel follows through. Here comes Cherry Moore as well. Who's going to come out on top? Because Flop now has to defend from the candy cane car.
He does indeed. Now at the final corner we go. O'Reilly still leading the way, but the Bont once again right on his heels and hunting him down. Yo again not able to go with them as Leach holds it off in P4. Then we got McGowan, Duffin, Langley and Goudet rounding out your top 8. Ramsel now into 9th ahead of Flop, Cherrymore, then Aberdeen, Cox, followed by Stardog, Wright, who's got Bell looking up the inside, Hovnath in 17th, Cummings in 18th, Marsden 19th, Smith in 20th, Taylor, then tipping Archer and Millington rounding out the grid here this evening. But once again, DeBont and O'Reilly going at it at the first part of this race.
Guys, no, it's not. All over the place with these drivers. And now through these corners onto the back part of the circuit once again, where they like to top out, but you've seen a lot of side by side through these left-handers now into turn number 8 and then turn number 7 I should say, then down towards turn number 8 with the cranes on the inside as you look from the aerial cam as you head down the back straight, wheel to wheel in the background. Flop has the slipstream on Ramsel, tries to pull out but he loses that slip instantly. Is he going to get alongside? No, he's not, just a little bit too far back. Gets a little boost, but no move done there either. A move down the inside could be the opportunity and the choice, but no, and that is going to be all the way through.
As you see also McGowan get a little bit closer to the back of Leach, and Duffin just having to adjust his line just to kind of counter out what the guys in front are doing at the minute. But once again, O'Reilly and DeBont pulling away from Yo. Yo has no answer once again, obviously leading earlier on in the first race and just doesn't seem to be able to go with these guys at this stage of the race. Meanwhile, Langley all over the back of Duffin as he go look to the inside of the penultimate corner. Duffin tries to break a little bit later to hold off Langley, and he manages to do so, the American against the Welshman, and at the minute the Welshman is leading them off at the minute. Meanwhile, further back, we've got Cox under pressure from Stardog. Stardog goes wide though. He's going to lose out, and Wright is now going to claim that position from Stardog after a poor run through there. And Stardog just has to be careful with track limits. He's been caught out a few times here, and he's about to lose a position to Matt Wright.
Yeah, him losing out with it, and they are going to fight all the way as they head into these plentiful, lovely, absolutely astounding corners. And it continues, it continues, it continues, it continues, it continues. Where is Matt Ryan? I'm trying to find him on my board. He's P number 15. We're back on the circuit. I'm going to stop singing now. There we go. As we go on to the back straight as well, you got the leaders making their way through. Also going to have Matthew Duffin having to defend from Langley. I totally did not disconnect again. And now onto the back straight one more time. Here comes Langley, locked in the rear view mirror of Matthew Duffin. Is it going to be a slipstream battle? Who will come out on top in this one? Down the back straight before the Ginettas top out with the revs and the power down into this braking zone. But I do believe it's going to be close between the leaders. Still no move there done by Bond. With 14 minutes left on the clock, is anybody going to go wide? Matthew Duffin now having to defend from Langley. No move done there that time either. These guys are having an absolute fight, Dan, and it's what you'll love to see here in the best console league.
They are indeed, and DeBont and O'Reilly literally tooth and nail between these two, and DeBont getting as close as he dares to the back of that Ginetta. And O'Reilly said when he came back into the Discord, he said about how the game feels a little bit different to him since the update. Possibly just not being able to drive for a while, just trying to struggle to get back into the groove, but he seems to be back in that groove quite nicely here. and he holds off the Bont once again, who has another fastest lap of the race. Meanwhile, Langley's under pressure from Goudet. He has a good look out of the final corner there, and John Goudet right behind the back of Langley here as they head towards turn number 1.
Yeah, turn 1 all across the place. O'Reilly is there, as well as all these drivers. You got John Goudet now around the outside looking for it. No move done there at turn number 1 to get past Langley, who has now dropped off the back of Matthew Duffin and fallen into the Team GBR driver's grasp. The blue, the pink, the green, the black, it's all over the place for these drivers. Now making their way through. All these drivers having an absolute fight against each other, but no moves seemingly being done at the moment as Bond still has the fastest. So
I think
the interesting factor. You heard no yawning.
I think the late nights are getting to you a little bit, aren't they, Lexi? Aren't they?
If you knew how bad my sleep schedule was at the moment, you would be shocked.
I'm hoping that the entertainment here on the grid will keep you awake, as we've got now De Bont on the back of O'Reilly once again. Not as close as he was earlier on, but still close enough to give O'Reilly a little bit of a headache, and not really finding the opportunity there. Meanwhile, Leach is starting to feel a little bit of pressure from McGowan, and again Goudet gets onto the back of Langley but can't do anything about him at this stage, as Duffin goes incredibly wide through the long swooping right-hander of 9, and that kind of compromises Langley as he comes back on circuit. Kind of holds him up ever so slightly, and Goudet now onto the back of him as Ramsell himself goes very wide as Flop tries to get closer to him. We've also got Aberdeen onto the back of Cherrymore. We've also got Taylor pressurising Smith, and Smith goes wide, and Taylor looking to try and go around the outside. No, he's not, and he just holds him off for the meantime.
Hold him off, but you gotta think about it. Down the main straight one more time, or for all the good times as you head down throughout these drivers. Got John Goudet still losing out. Rob Ramsell having to defend from Flop in P number 10 at the moment. Turn number 1 coming up as they look for a move. Nothing there though. And now through turn number 2, through into turn number 3.
Oh, De Bont nearly hit the back of O'Reilly, and he's had to go straight on through the S's. That's definitely going to give him a track limits warning, unless he's managed to cut enough of it so he doesn't get one. But De Bont very, very close to the back of O'Reilly then, and Leach as well has brought the gap down to Darren Yeo. So Yeo just struggling here at this stage as Leach starts to hunt him down.
Yeah, that is the... as Leach chasing down that podium position, as you've also got Flop chasing down another point. But all these guys into the final 10 minutes now have to think about it. Of course, it's a sprint to the end, but how are they thinking about how they're driving? Are they choosing a different strategy? Are they being a bit more aggressive, a bit more conservative since the last race in race number 2? And plus, you got to think about it. How are the Xbox drivers faring, considering that our rigs weren't working let's be honest, our rigs weren't working until yesterday. So how is the inability to practice properly affecting it out there? Looking at you, PlayStation.
What you're saying is PlayStation have more time to practice. Is that what you're trying to get at?
I am. Yes, I am.
Well, I don't think it matters too much, because O'Reilly's showing that you can do it with very little practice as well on Xbox, and leading the way at the minute ahead of the PlayStation driver of De Bont, who's still got within range again. He's had that moment, and now he's caught onto the back of him. Leach has just dropped off the back of Yeo again. They're starting to look more in his mirrors at McGowan. As Duffin as well, kind of in no man's land, a bit like how Langley was previously. But Goudet now still hustling the back of him, as Flop has got ahead of Ramsell. So Ramsell possibly made a mistake somewhere and dropping behind. Further back, we've got Cox going against Wright, and Wright going around the outside of Cox through turn number 1. A great little move there from Matt Wright, but then Cox is spun him round, and I don't know if Matt Wright's still facing the right way. Yes, he is. Cox ended up just pushing him around, and Matt Wright losing out there. So a little bit of push to pass, and Marsden once again I think he got a drive through in race 1, or I might have been wrong. But either way, he has got a drive through. Cherrymore losing out by the looks of it, or he's fighting with Aberdeen, who's got Flop and Ramsel just ahead of him. Very tight in the mid pack as we go back to the front, and DeBont once again in the tow.
Once again in the tow. So now it comes down to the option. How will it fare out? He's getting closer and closer each time he comes down the back straight. Only slightly. He's keeping up the paces. It may be a little bit wider for O'Reilly. Very much on the limit there. But decides I'm going to try the outside. But no move done for Bont either. So just unable to find that little sliver where he may be able to glide through. So is there going to be a bit of annoyance starting to settle in of the fact that he's unable to get the move done at the moment? Is there going to be an option where he has to think about it again and think, where can I change it up, because I'm not getting it done there?
That's the 741. That is Stardog once again. Track limits have bit him in the bum, and he's going to have to do a drive-through. DeBont, meanwhile, can't find a way past on O'Reilly. McGowan once again onto the back bumper of Leach, and has really been hustling him towards the end of this lap. He's whipped the gap down to 0.3 of a second. Meanwhile, Langley is starting to gain back on Duffin, and Goudet just dropped off the back of him, possibly just allowing him to work his way up. Meanwhile, Ramsel is attacking Flop as they head towards turn number 1 we go. And looking at the inside, Ramsel briefly, but couldn't quite get the job done. And Aberdeen just falls in behind as well. Cherrymore just behind them. Flop runs wide. He might have to lift off the throttle so he don't get a track limit warning there. But Flop hangs again for another couple of corners here as Ramsel can't find the way through, and Aberdeen's starting to get a little bit impatient.
Yeah, it's all over the place as you got to wonder, how is this going to fare out down the back straight with all these drivers? As you got so many cars fighting, McGowan, Mott, Duffin, Langley, you got John Godet in there as well, and all aboard the flop train, because you got him leading through Ramsel, Aberdeen, as well as Cherrymore and Cox, as well as Matt Wright is starting to close down as well. Horvath defending from Taylor down the back straight with those drivers, but once again eyes will go to the leaders, because once again in the exact same corner, Bont is all over the back of O'Reilly. Seemingly though, no mistake like there was last time, but Stardog, I just want to say, good old triple for him tonight with the drive-throughs.
I don't think it's good for him. I think he's a bit probably annoyed about that one, but either way, he's going to learn very hard, especially ready for tomorrow night when he's racing in the Pro-Am class. But yeah, not quite the way he probably would have wanted tonight to go. But O'Reilly and DeBont still kind of sharing bumpers at the minute. The 64, that is Bell. He's now got to drive through as well as Leach and McGowan close up. Duffin closes up with them, as does Langley and Goudet. So they're all getting close as Flop still ahead of Ramsel, as Aberdeen and Cherrymore just drop off the back a little bit. And once again, it's all concertinaing up towards the bottom end, well, the middle part of the top 10 between Leach, McGowan, Duffin, and we see there Goudet's got a run on Langley. He's going to go around the outside of turn number 1. That'd be a brave move. Langley gives him the racing room, so does Goudet, and they just about make it through. And John Goudet with a good move around the outside of turn number 1 gives him the inside for turn 2, and a job done there. Brilliant stuff there from Goudet.
Yeah, so good defending and good attack all over the place. He's now got to be careful, because all these drivers are up against him as you go through these corners. Who is going to come out? Who's going to think about it? 4:35 left on the clock. So you've got about, with the leaders where they currently are, we're going to be going on to penultimate after this one. So you've got 2.5 laps left to race. And hey, looks like a nice bit of racing, indeed it does. And if you would like to be interested in joining SimPlay Motorsport, find us on SimGrid at SimPlay Motorsport. Or you can go into the description of the video or the live stream whenever you may be watching and join our Discord. Of course, you've got to do a hot stint before you can get into the racing action, so we can properly place you in the correct category. Of course, with the Ginettas in the GT4, there is bronze, silver and gold. But Dan, it's even more categories with the GT3s because you've got platinum, gold, silver, and bronze. Of course, silver and bronze being in Pro-Am, and then platinum and gold in Pro.
You do indeed. The top boys in the Pro, obviously a bit different for the GT4s, separate class, obviously with a majority of different abilities and drivers in here. So it's purely based on gold, silver, and bronze. But then obviously you've got the Pro class, which is purely the fastest in the league. And you've got your top drivers who are platinums, and then your gold drivers who are bottom end of Pro. Silver for the Pro-Am, so the top drivers in that category, and then obviously the same again for the bronze to the bottom end. But it's all done fairly and evenly through the hot stints that we go, the race pace that we look through at each race. And it gets reviewed and looked at by our very own Matt Wright, he puts in a lot of time and effort in the background to do them. And I think it's worked out quite well, as Cherrymore is exceeding that at the minute. He's doing a great job in that P12 at the minute. And Matt Wright on the back of Cox at the minute, can't find a way through on him at the minute. He had a moment earlier on, but was unable to get the job done. A little bit of contact probably didn't help. And once again, the Bont is right on the back bumper of O'Reilly. O'Reilly's only got to try and survive 2 or 3 more laps, but the Bont has had the run that he needed, and he's coming out of the toe.
Coming out of the toe and looking for it down the back straight. When are they going to rev out? He's on the penultimate. He's got it. He wants to get it done because he wants to defend on that final lap. He wants to go 3 for 3. But where will it come out this time? Down towards turn number 8, the outside line. Got to be right there with him. Looks for it very, very, very wide. For the Bono hitting the bollards. That is 100% a track limits warning.
It is indeed, and further back you see as well Leach, McGowan, Duffin and Goudet all relatively close. Goudet definitely took track limits just now, hit one of the bollards. Cherrymore once again onto the back of Aberdeen, who's just on the back of Ramsey. Meanwhile, Cox and Matt Wright going wheel to wheel. Matt Wright looking to go around the outside of turn 8 into turn 9. He's on the wrong side once again, possibly try and get the cut back on the 510, but contact made with Cox, and Cox loses the back end. Does Matt Wright slow down for him? Yes, he does, but Taylor comes through, but Matt Wright continuing on through as Cherrymore is slow. Aberdeen's had contact, and this is the final lap that they are starting, so it's all heating up right to the end here. And it is once again De Bont and O'Reilly. De Bont with the flash of the lights on the back of him as they go through turn number 1, and still defending heavily is that of O'Reilly, and doing a fabulous job of that. Can he hang on? Your championship leader hold off De Bont, who's just turned up to the championship now, and he's really giving O'Reilly a bit of a hard time.
Yes, so it is now this choice. He has one more opportunity. Was it the fact that he went wide at turn number 8, the bit that cost him? We're gonna find out. He's got one more chance. He's got one more sector after this for the Bont to make it 3-4-3. How will it go around this circuit? We're gonna find out. Down the back straight, trying to hop in the toe, trying to hop in the slipstream as the hole is punched in the air by the Ginetta in front. Up against them, fighting for these positions that they decide to do. Drive through penalty for the 420 as the white flag flies. Marsden is already last, so that won't affect him too much. Through the right-hander, no move done for the Bont. But now into these final few corners, he will look for an up and under, but a little bit too wide. Heading through turn number 9 and then into turn number 10. They will now go. Who is going to choose the opportunity? Who is going to choose the choice? Who is going to choose to make a mistake? This is the final chance he has. The 838 versus the number 74. You predicted the Bont, Dan. I predicted O'Reilly. This is where it counts. Final corners. But out the final, here we go. One last run, but it may not be enough. And it will not be enough. It looks like, unless it's a drag, but it will not be. O'Reilly ruins the 3 for 3. O'Reilly wins race number 3 to beat out De Bont. And Vigneault finishes P number 3. De Bont takes the final place on the takes the fastest lap, with Yo rounding out the podium.
Yo does round out the podium. Gary Leach with a fabulous P4 on that one. P5 going away with McGowan. P6 for Duffin. 7 is Goudet. 8th is Langley. Flop is 9th. Ramsell is 10th. Aberdeen is 11th. Cherrymore is 12th. 13th is Wright. Cox is 14th. Smith is 15th. Hovnath is in 16th. Taylor in 17th. 18th is Millington. 19th is Archer. Cummings in 20th, while Tipping is 21st. Stardog is going to come home for that 22nd position. Bell in 23rd, and in 24th it is Marston. And what a race that was, Alexi. Great racing from all. It's been good to watch all night, and fabulous racing as well. There's been some close racing, there's been some slight contact, but all in all, nothing too dramatic, nothing too crazy. And in the end, it is O'Reilly who takes the win. And let's have a quick run through of the evening though, Lexi. Who for you is your driver of the day? It's pretty hard to sum it up, but there's been some great drives tonight.
Let me have a look. See, honestly, I'm going to give it to Matthew Duffin. Just nice and consistent. No podium, but he was consistent the entire evening.
For sure. I'm going to have to go the way of DeBont. I think DeBont's been very, very fast, very aggressive this evening. And I think for him, it is very much his night. He's done very, very well to score some good points as well. And next up on the calendar is the first night race of the season. I'm currently just doing the tables as we speak. But first night race of the season, we head over to the States, and we head to Laguna Seca, next round of the season. Lexi, what's your opinion on Laguna Seca?
Look, here's the thing, this is going to sound controversial. The only good thing about Laguna Seca is the corkscrew. Otherwise, it's a pretty boring circuit.
Curbs there are quite lethal. They're not the best of curbs, let's just put it that way. I've never really been a big fan of Laguna Seca myself. We've actually named it in the past Spooky Laguna, because the amount of glitches and issues we've had in the past there really does give it a good name for that. I don't know if anyone's going to be joining us in the comms box.
We got plenty of people. We got so many people here. Who should we start off with, Dan? Should we start off with O'Reilly?
Let's we'll leave O'Reilly till last. We'll start with Matthew Duffin. Obviously, he got the podium in race 1. Then we'll go Langley, and then we will go O'Reilly for the last race win. So, Lexi, if you want to take the interviews while I keep up to date with the tables.
Of course. Mr. Matthew Duffin, you are live on SimPlay Motorsport. Welcome into the commentary box. Talk us through those races, a podium, and not too bad overall. So, especially race number 3, a little bit lower down, but you were pretty consistent across the board tonight.
Yeah, for once felt good to have some good pace. Helps when you get 2 weeks worth of practice, I suppose. But no, I was looking forward to Paul Ricard last week. It was a track that I finally felt comfortable at with this ballast. The ballast has hurt me all season, and I just haven't been able to get the car right. Which has been a shame. But yeah, it's we've worked hard for this week. We've worked hard for these results. The results aren't bad. They're not where I'd want to be, but you've got to take your hats off to people like O'Reilly, who's just absolutely flying with the ballast and weight he's got on board. He's doing a cracking job, and yeah, it's hard at times, and I've been really struggling this season.
Yeah, I mean, you were talking about the ballast. How's the car been this season, realistically? Like, with the ballast or without the ballast, like, what's it like in the car? Especially, like, I don't know if you've got your camera set up differently, but most of the cars are left-hand drive, but this is right-hand drive, so...
Yeah,
what's the car like, really?
I run the bonnet cam, so the left-hand, right-hand drive doesn't really bother me too much, because I run on the bonnet. Car's been great, car's been great. There've been a few issues, 3 races with Zandvoort, whatever 3 day was in a row after Monza was horrendous. Felt like my tyres had just died and lost all pace in them 3. Then Hungaroring felt a bit better, like Hungaroring, you know, car felt good. The weight was killing me on the straights, but apart from that, felt fine. Did test Misano, the car felt awful there, just no top end speed. The pulling out the corner was just awful. So it's like everybody was just being able to pull away from me on traction or gain them in. Struggled there. I just feel like I've been fighting for every result this season since Monza, and tonight I actually felt like, you know, I had a great fight with John and Langley, and good fight in the last one there with Gary and McGowan. But tonight's been the first time since the first 2 races where I feel like I've not fought the car too much, where it's kind of just been nice to drive. Pace could be a bit better, consistency could be a bit better, but yeah.
Yeah, well, fair enough. We've kind of got to acknowledge it because, of course, we had to postpone it by this week. Do you think that the fact that the Xbox issues made it so that the practice wasn't able to be done properly, do you think that might have played a factor into how you were able to drive around tonight?
I don't know. I think I'd have drove the same last week if we'd have done this race last week. I think the results or the outcome may have still been the same. It might have been slightly different, but nothing too bad. But don't know. You know, these guys are really quick. McGowan's got 35 kilograms tonight, so I think it's seen that bit of extra weight for him. He struggled a little bit. The Bont's come in. He's had 20 kilos as a new driver. He's shown his class. Darren Yeo again, brilliant performance from him. You know, so there's been drivers up and down the grid that have had great races. I think I'd have kind of been the same last week as this week. Last week kind of was demoralising in the fact of I didn't want to test because it was, you know, it just, with all the issues we've had, it just felt like, yeah, it was just a bit, kind of one of them where you just didn't want to play it. But no, good to finally be back. Good to be on the grid. And yeah, long mate. Hopefully we can continue with no problems towards the end of the season now.
Indeed, let's hope for it. Thank you very much, Matthew Duffin.
Cheers.
And good luck to you next week.
Thank you.
Mr. Langley, we shall go to you next if you want to unmute.
Hello.
And
How are you?
hello. I am doing good. Talk us through your race tonight.
First 2 silver wins and first podium in GT4. So, pretty good. Pace felt electric. I was running mid to high 205s, but when I was following everyone else, that became low to mid 205s. So, I put in a pretty good lap in the second quali, put it up P3, and people fought behind me, picked up a first podium, so I was pretty ecstatic about that. Consistent results all night, P4 in race 1 and P8 in race 3. Race 3 I felt it was a bit sketchy, but all good. I think my definitely my best weekend in GT4s and my best results tonight. 3 and 4 were both, well, when I got 4th, it was definitely a personal best, and then matched it immediately the next race, so that was fun.
So, what's the preparation been like going into this race? Like, do you think the setup could have been better? Do you think that the car felt a little bit off, or how do you think it felt out there?
Setup felt great. I actually used the same one from last week, and although I was on Xbox, I think even the PlayStation users, a lot of PlayStation users just took the week off. Probably didn't practice much anyway. But it didn't affect me as much in terms of practicing because I do controller instead of wheel. So I could have practiced if I wanted to, but I didn't. Took the week off, picked up the setup from last week that I already had, and felt pretty fast right out the box. I don't know if I could have done anything different. Maybe tire pressures were a little too high, but nothing outrageous. But the car felt great. Probably the most planted I've had this GT4 car all season. So good to be 2 top 5s and 3 top 10s in one weekend. Definitely haven't had that before. So yeah, very happy, and first time to be in the comms box in GT4. Ecstatic about that.
Yeah, so going into next week, what's the plan like? Is there going to be more practice put in because there's no longer any issues? So feel like there's a bit more motivation to get on the circuit, get the practice in, or is there like a different plan going into it?
Honestly, probably more of the same. I mainly practice GT3s. I really only start practicing GT4s maybe the Monday, or Monday definitely, and maybe the Sunday before the race. I mean, braking points are only meters difference between the two cars, so generally same preparation. Hop on the server when no one else is on because they're 5 hours ahead of you, and just get some practice in then. But yeah, nothing really changing with that.
Well, fair enough. We shall let you go. Good results tonight, and we shall see you next week.
Yeah, have a good one. Thanks for having me.
No worries. And then Mr. Riley, race number 3 winner, the man who has had hardly any practice due to the console issues. What a statement out there, stopping the 3 for 3. Talk us through it, especially that last race.
Yeah, overall, it's been a tough night. Obviously, we've not been able to practice, just jumping on, sort of just winging it, to be fair. Really sort of struggled. Debont had the pace, and I just had to try and keep with him. Like I say, we managed to pull it together with race 3, but it wasn't easy. Like I say, he was right on my bumper all the way through. So any little mistake would cost me massively. So, you know, I've got to be happy with it, I suppose, and just carry on bringing them points in to hopefully try and take this championship home now.
Yeah, well, you are in the lead of it. You are holding on to it. So I believe you're still in the lead of it. Dan, can we get clarification?
To you on that one. Just finish the interviews and I will come back on that one.
Okie dokie. So, of course, everybody knows how it's been. How's the ballast been affecting you, O'Reilly? Because you've had all that ballast for a very long time now. So, has it got to a point where it's used to having the ballast now, and you think that if you lose the ballast, it may feel very different?
Yeah, if I'm being honest, I'm sort of sick of it now. It's just that you've just got no pace, and even coming down the back straight then, you know, even though we're hitting the limit of all of us, he was still gaining on me. So it clearly just adds a lot of drag to the car. And to be fair, in the corners and whatnot, I've managed to bring it together, but it's just the traction and the pace down the straights. So it'd be a blessing to not have it, but obviously that means falling down in the championship. So, you know, we just got to make do with it and try my best every week to keep it together and obviously keep pulling these results in.
So that's seemingly how it's been out there. Next week, how do we think it's going to go? Is it going to be a bit more difficult with the next circuit, or what's the plan?
Is it Laguna? Yeah, I don't even know where we are, to be fair.
I believe it's
Race.
Laguna. I was thinking it was Suzuka, but apparently it's Laguna.
It's Laguna night race next.
Laguna. To be fair, I like Laguna, so, and the Ginetta suits Laguna. Yeah, I don't know about the night race round there. Might be a bit sketchy, but yeah, I'll have to do a little bit of testing now that we can finally jump back on and try and put a setup together. But it's a track that I favour, so, you know, no excuses going into next week. We'll just have to try and put it together again, and like I say, keep bringing these decent results home and bringing the points in.
Well, fair enough. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to give a thanks to?
Well, I just want to shout out to Debont, obviously. You know, it was a good performance from him tonight. I seen that he had at first I did think he had no weight on, but he had 20 kg, so fair play to him, because even the 20 makes a difference. So yeah, I just want to give a big shout out to Debont, really. You know, he unfortunately obviously couldn't make it 3 out of 3, but you know, it's what it is. On to the next one, and I'm sure I'll be back to contest me again.
Dan, is there clarification on the standings, or are we leaving it there?
Currently, we do have an update on the standings. O'Reilly, meanwhile, has got pretty much a 300-point gap over the next car, which is Matthew Duffin. There is obviously still, I believe, 1,000 points still yet up to grab. So the championship standings looks like this. O'Reilly leaves Paul Ricard with a gap of 295 points ahead of Duffin in second, McGowan in third, with Yo in fourth, Skunky in fifth, Wright in sixth, Tordock in seventh, Friedman eighth, ninth is Snide, 10th is Goudet, 11th is Leach, Ramsell 12th, Langley 13th, Silth 14th, Aberdeen 15th, Minitin 16th, Carlos 17th, 18th is Cranes, 19th is Varga, Bolton in 20th, Flop 21st, Tipping 22nd, Taylor 23rd, Bell 24th, Hoffner 25th, Smith 26th, Cherrymore 27th, Archer 25th, and Marshall in 29th. Now into the people who cannot win the championship. Now mathematically impossible. For Johnson in 30th, Stardog 31st, DeBont 32nd, Nebo in 33rd, Fernie 34th, Cummings 35th, Hovnath 36th, Stark in 37, Cox in 38, Old Sim Racer 39, Williams 40th, Best 41st, Raiden 42nd, and then your team's championship looks like this. Dapper Racing still leading the way, 114 points ahead of Greasy Bandits in second, SimPlay Racing in third, with Team GBR in fourth, Team RRM in P5, Quantum in sixth, MSA in seventh, eighth is Ballbusters Racing, ninth is Piston Pounders, 10th is CT Motorsport, GND Racing in 11th, CGT Motorsport in 12th, Team Motorsport 13th, 14th is Roadrunners Motors, Lexi's Industries Racing in P15, Blunt Force Racing in 16th, Soldor 17th, 18th, OWR Racing, 2Cs Racing in 19th, Team FBR in 20th, Team Tom in 21st, and Apex in 22nd. And that's a round of your championship standings, and that is that for the Ginettas. A great night's worth of racing, a fantastic duel between O'Reilly and DeBont, fantastic to watch. DeBont will obviously lose the weight come Laguna, and we'll see what O'Reilly's got left on in the under the tank when he goes to Laguna. But Lexi, that is a roundup here at Paul Ricard. Next up is Laguna Seca, an exciting round to come, and our first night race of the season.
Yeah, most definitely. Should we round this out, Dan? Because I feel like that's all to play for now.
It is indeed. I'm just doing a quickly look at driver of the day, and that went the way of DeBont in the end. So DeBont gets driver of the day as well. So that is it, guys. Thank you all for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell to be notified so you don't miss anything here at SimPlay Motorsport. And we've been SimPlay Motorsport, and we will catch you all tomorrow night for the Pro-Ams, with myself bringing you all the action once again. But for myself and Lexi, it's good night.